Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy MLK Day, Martin Luther King Day. It's Formation Morning Sports Talk. It's your boy Trey and my man Bishop, and we're here to sit up and say, "Fall in, Bishop. How you doing, bruh?"
What's going on, WGO, WGO? How y'all doing this morning? What is going on MLK Day? Y'all, I know everybody, not everybody, but there are a few people who don't have to work today to celebrate Martin Luther King Day. I know here I'm not where I'm at, because of what is it? Because of Omarion, um, Omarion Omicron.
Free.
A lot of people, or they have canceled the MLK March and walk or parade today here in the area, which I'm in San Antonio, Texas. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. But yeah, man, I'm doing good, man. Loving life, had a great weekend. You know, was good. Great games yesterday.
What's
First and foremost, first Facebook user, who was that? Whoever that is, thank you. Good morning, good
morning,
morning.
people? Yes. So of course, like you said, great games yesterday. We had a full slate of guests to come on talk about them great games and great events, but unfortunately, some of them weren't able to make it. But however, we did have one that was able to come true. The other ones we'll catch up on the flip side. Of course, you know what I'm saying, today we'll be having my man Cornelius. Oh, that's that's Dante.
What? I hope it ain't messed up my
Of
phone.
course, you have your man Cornelius Cole that's going to be on here to talk about himself, talk about what he did in the military. And well, you know, what I'm saying we'll let him talk about himself. Hey, Cornelius, brother, how you doing, man? What's going on with you, fam?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. I'm just saying, don't
As
let us run
always.
the gauntlet on you. Go ahead, brother. Tell us about yourself and what you got going on.
Well, as you said, I'm Cornelius Cole, radio host for the Stimulate Your Mind show, WDRB Media. You can check me out every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, iHeart, Apple Music, Tune, etc. Um, I'm also an author, got a book out there, Pains That a Man Hides. Um, for those that went through early childhood trauma, it's about the early years. It's about my life, real stories about what I've been through. Um, it's a lot of insight for old and young brothers, young sisters across the globe as far as dealing with depression, dealing with uh, PTSD early on in life, and how to keep pushing. It's like the Stimulate Your Mind show is pretty much surrounded around that as far as
What up, Freddie? What up, Freddie? I think you froze.
random topics
Oh,
from
there you
everything.
go.
On my
There you
show, I
go.
talk everything.
That's what's
Uh,
up.
Okay.
we talk everything from small business, getting your game up. I'm the people's coach. So I coach people every day. Now I'm working with kids, a little bit of military background. All my military bros out there, all my military sisters out there. Um, I support you guys majorly. From 97 to 2001, I was United States Navy. I was on I'm a plank owner, actually. And for those that don't know what that means, I was
That's
there
research
before the
business.
ship was commissioned. I was on the Harry S. Truman before it was commissioned. Um, I worked in the engineering department, auxiliary division. Small boats was my original job, but there I learned how to fix everything from ACs to everything hydraulics, aircraft elevators, all things like that, which helped me out in the world when I returned as a civilian. Um, for years, I was a maintenance man, and then I switched over to railroad superintendent for a railroad contracting company.
Hmm.
Just traveling all over, changing wheels on trains, engines, things like that. Um, I worked for a great company. I worked for a great company 9 years, and then I decided to leave that and do my own thing, i.e., radio show, write books, and I'm also right now a middle school teacher. So I have a
Okay.
lot of,
Okay.
I have a lot
Okay.
of tags. I teach sixth through eighth grade, small private school. Shout out to the Michener Academy out here in North Carolina. It's in the Selma, North Carolina area, the Raleigh area.
Okay.
Um, and I also drive the school bus, so I'm very active in the community. I'm very active in the community right now, trying to get the young ones up, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. So of course y'all hear it, saying stimulate your mind. Of course, you're saying that title alone, it sounds like it'd be grateful, especially for those, saying us service members of all forces, all breeds, whether you're retired, active, of a veteran, of course, dependents of the retirees, everyone saying could utilize that. I'm very sure. So something that came up, so like you talked about coaching, right? So of course, what we have is the coaching carousel that's currently out there, in which we have a few coaches that are actually being looked at. Of course, one of them, because he had to go home last night, he's going to have a plethora of time to be looked at and do interviews. Of course, saying you have Brian DeBall, Bills offensive coordinator, as well as Leslie Frazier, who is the Bills defensive coordinator, are able to will be taking interviews with Chicago and Miami. Bishop Cornelius, do you see any fits there, or you think it's going to continue to be a search for Chicago when you take a look at the OC and the defensive coordinator for the Bills interviewing for those two jobs?
I don't.
I go ahead and say,
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Cornelius. You
Go ahead.
got.
Go ahead.
okay, I'll go ahead and say it looks like it's a good look, but I think the NFL, I think all those teams, no disrespect to Chicago and all that stuff, but I think when it comes to looking for coaches and things, I think that Rooney Rule sets them back a little bit. I
Mm,
don't expect much to change. I think a lot of times they already have like certain people that they want for the job already. But because of the Rooney Rule and things like that, they have to go through these interview processes. I think we see it time and time again. A big point of that would be um, the team I root for a lot, the Dallas Cowboys. We've interviewed
Sorry for
different
that.
coaches for those positions, but we always seem to take, like a Mike McCarthy, or we rolled with Jason Garrett when it was better coaches out there. Remember at that time, Mike Singletary was huge on the list. You got
mhm,
Leslie Frazier on the list now. You got Byron Leftwich on the list. I don't know. I
True.
hope some of those jobs go that way, but the way it's always looking, it never really lasts that long. It's always like a process. Let us just get the interview out of the way when we already know we want this guy over here. You know,
mhm.
I hope it's not like that this time around, but that's the way it's been throughout the NFL for years now. Nothing's really changed so much. If you look at the numbers, right now, I think you still just got Tomlin in the league. You know,
Yes.
um, I think that if you're really going to be proactive, then it has to go beyond interviews and become a thing that we are going to hire some. We are going to hire some diversity. We are going to add diversity to our league. If not, we're going to keep getting the same thing: interviews, but nothing coming of it. And it's still the same tag of not enough experience. Where are you going to get the experience from?
Hmm. True, 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 true. That goes across into any job. Bishop, I ask you. Additionally, Ty Bowles, the Bucks defensive coordinator, is also it has also been said that he would interview for the Minnesota job, as well as D'Amico Ryans, 49ers defensive coordinator, as well. And lastly, Kellen Moore, the Cowboys OC, all three possibly interviewing for the Minnesota Vikings position. So you just heard what Cornelius was stating, talking about the diversity. Do you think does this solve the problem, or is it one of those things where it might be just like that, like a check the block, but they already got somebody that they have in mind?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's a band aid for what is going on in the league in regard to diversity within the NFL association. I don't. Yeah, I coach or every owner and general manager probably already have in mind. Don't get me wrong, they probably wait to see how some of these games turn out, like this weekend and see who won and lost, see who's available, just in case those people that was already fired at the end of their game of the season may not have
Hmm.
been one of the ones that they had in mind. So, but I truly believe that that they already had in mind who they kind of want, but they may, uh, kind of like what would I say, um, suit the public by making it seem like it's more than that, or make people think, oh, this person is in consideration because of course because of the pigment of his skin and so forth and so on, and make it look like, oh yeah, they about to hire a African American coach or an African American GM, whatever. However, when in actuality all they doing is just trying to hype everybody up and make them think that, when they all in actuality, and deep down they know who they already want. They already got in mind who they want if they can get them. Now, if that person is not in agreement and doesn't want to go to that team or may want to go somewhere else or whatever, then they may fall back on on that one individual that they was hyping up the whole, hyping up the fans with. But in the long run, yeah, their mind is set. And if they can make it happen, they'll make it happen with the person they already got in mind, in my opinion.
Okay, so what Tomlin, as Cornelius said, we all know 15 years, nothing but winning records. What has kept him safe? Is it because of the organization in which he works for? Is it because he's winning? Like, what do y'all guys think has left him to where he's the lone African American coach in NFL, and they haven't produced a Super Bowl in what 18, 17 years? So what keeps Tomlin in play? Do you
I,
think? I'm sorry.
I think one of the main reasons he's still play, I think, in my opinion, is because he is still winning. It's hard to fire a coach. It really doesn't make any sense for you to fire a coach and win. What is your reasoning behind it? And I know they probably, a lot of people and fans and stuff are probably saying, "Oh well, it's our reason is because we ain't won a Super Bowl in so many years." Yeah, but he's still winning, and he ain't won a Super Bowl with the oldest quarterback outside of Tom Brady in the league. That's why, maybe that's the reason why he won the Super Bowl. Because I personally feel like, yeah, he shouldn't even be. I think, in my personal opinion, I feel like being played 1 year too long, or maybe even two.
Mm.
In my personal opinion, I feel like Ben should have been done. And I feel like until you get a new quarterback in place, how you gonna fire the coach when he still, even though Ben may have played a little too long, they was still winning. So
I think
you can't get
I
rid of
think
the
it
coach.
also goes. I think it goes with the
But
organization, the Roonies, right? That's where the Rooney
mm-hmm.
Rule came from. So the
Right,
Pittsburgh Steelers organization, I think that has a lot to do with it. Also, his winning record, his character. Uh,
that
I
too.
think that's a huge part. And also, if you check the Pittsburgh Steelers history, I think they're the only team that's only had like 3 or 4 coaches lifetime, right? So they don't do a lot of switching of coaches. They
Facts.
pretty much stay firm with what they have. I think they've been able to win as many Super Bowls, 6 Super Bowls because of that longevity and that believing in that sustainability with the coaches that they have had. You think before Tomlin, they had Bill Cowher for a long time. Like I said, they
Yeah,
don't switch a lot. They
Mm-hmm.
don't
you know,
switch a lot, and if you're winning, it's like to piggyback off what Bishop said. If you're winning, why make a switch to a coach? Why switch a coach up when they've played in more? Ben Roethlisberger has played in a lot of meaningful games, whether people want to admit it or not, right?
facts.
And we do a lot of talk about player wise. We talk a lot about how great Aaron Rodgers is, but Ben has more Super Bowls than Aaron Rodgers. Um,
Mm.
so
Facts.
he's won more. He's won more championship games than Aaron Rodgers. So the comparison, but the biggest thing about Tomlin is when you watch him in interviews or when you watch him on the sideline, uh, he's always engaged. Um, he's always engaged with his team. You can see that the players respect him and the players want to play for him. And it's hard to replace a guy like that. No matter what color you are, really, no matter what your background is, it's hard to replace solid people. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers realize they have a solid one, and I think they'll ride that out until he's ready to make a decision whether or not he wants to stay or step down.
I also
Mm.
got to agree with Cole too. I think one thing about Tomlin, he's a player's coach. The players like Tomlin. You know what I'm saying? They really like him and respect him. You know what I'm saying? Outside of maybe AD, everybody else likes Tomlin. You know what I'm saying? So I think that goes far as well with player player management and being that you are general manager and the owner, you really want your coach and players to kind of like have that type of relationship. System is quickly where the coach has players that continue to big games and playoffs. No matter how bad the team is, they pass the record stats to get rid of the coach of each. Okay, I feel you. I see you, Rod. Appreciate that comment.
So of course, like I say, it's going to forever be an ongoing thing. One thing you can probably say is that at this current point, the Pittsburgh Steelers have kind of figured it out from even what Cornelius is stating, talking about there are only three or four coaches in their existence. They have been successful. Maybe it's something to take a look at, but everything isn't for everybody. Of course, people have their own agendas, and you'll say it would continue on. But hopefully, a deserving coach, the deserving, i.e., whether it be African American, Black, Hispanic, female, a deserving coach gets the opportunity to show, and with the time to make it happen. Of course, we see a lot of situations in which the ones who we feel should be, they should get a couple of years, a year or two, 3 years, at least their contract, at least the first contract, to make to make good on it, but they don't get opportunity. And for unfortunately some odd reason, it seems to always be coaches of a diversity, i.e., African Americans, Hispanic, or whatever case like that. So hopefully, you know what I'm saying, it all works out. There's a lot of coaches that's out there. But hopefully it doesn't affect my squad. So, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day. But in any way, for no matter. Of course, over the weekend, right after we got off the air, the NFL put out this year's all pro. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
How you doing, man? Oh, really?
The NFL put out this year's All Pro teams. Of course, during the All Pro teams, some of the teams that came out. Who else did we think? Aaron Rodgers was was on the first team, followed by Jonathan Taylor, running back, tight end, Mark Andrews, wide receivers Devontae Adams from the Green Bay Packers, Cooper Kupp from the Los Angeles Rams, and Debo Samuels from the San Francisco 49ers. The first team offensive line became left tackle Trent Williams, right tackle Tristan Wirfs, left guard Joel Babitino from the Cleveland Browns, right guard Zach Martin for the Dallas. What's basketball on my mind? Dallas Cowboys. Center Jason Kelsey for the Philadelphia Eagles. On the defensive end, the edge rushers T.J. Watt from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns. Interior lineman Aaron Donald, Los Angeles Rams, Cameron Hayward, Pittsburgh Steelers. The linebacker core, Micah Parsons from the Dallas, rookie, shout out. Darius Leonard, Indianapolis Colts, Devondre Campbell from the Green Bay Packers. The cornerbacks consist of Trayvon Diggs from the Dallas Cowboys, Jalen Ramsey from the Los Angeles Rams, and safety Kevin Bernard from the Tennessee Titans, and Jordan Poyer from the Buffalo Bills. Of course, the special teams consisted of Justin Tucker and no other, Baltimore Ravens, AJ Cole from the Las Vegas Raiders, Braxton Berrios, New York Jets for kick return, punt returner Devin Duvernay for the Baltimore Ravens, special teamers JT Gray from New Orleans Saints, and long snacker Luke Rose, Indianapolis. Gentlemen, in that list, do you think that anyone was snubbed or should have been on the first team? In all actuality, or do you think they got it right this time?
I'll start by saying I think the list is accurate with the players that you have. I mean, I think you can make a case. I think the Cincinnati Bengals can make a case for the Jamar Chase. He was a rookie. He put up great numbers, but other than that, I don't, but who would you replace? I mean, Debo Samuel is everything to the 49ers. So, Cooper Kupp, record breaking, and, Devontae Adams is a beast out there in Green Bay. So I think they got the list right as best as they could. It's a lot of talent out there. So if I was making a case, it would probably just be Jamar Chase. Where could he fit on that list? Other than that, I think everything sounds pretty good.
So at least the five of them: Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor, J.J. Watt, and Aaron Donald were unanimous first teamers. The list for, of course, the second team You had quarterback Tom Brady. They actually didn't select a running back due to the fact that they're only having one selection for running back and no one else. It was all unanimous for Taylor. So they're seeing if they're going to go back and change that so that way they can have a actual second team running back, second team tight end Travis Kelce from the Kansas City Chiefs, wide receivers Justin Jefferson, Minnesota Vikings, and Jamar Chase from the Cincinnati Bengals. Left tackle Rashawn Slater from the Chargers, Lane Johnson from the Philadelphia Eagles, left guard Quentin Nelson from the Indianapolis Colts, right guard Wyatt Teller from the Cleveland Browns. Corey Lindsey was the second team from the Los Angeles Chargers, second team center. Defense edge rushers Robert Quinn from the Chicago Bears and Max Crosby from the Las Vegas Raiders. Interior lineman Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs and Jeffrey Simmons from the Tennessee Titans. Linebacker Demario Davis from New Orleans Saints, Roquan Smith, Chicago Bears, and Bobby Wagner from the Seattle Seahawks. Cornerback J.C. Jackson, New England Patriots, and A.J. Terrell, Atlanta Falcons. Safeties Justin Simmons, Denver Broncos, Micah Hyde, Buffalo Bills, and Buda Baker as well because they came into the tie in their voting. Place kickers was Daniel Carlson from the Las Vegas Raiders, Brian Anger from the Dallas Cowboys, the Los Angeles Rams kick returner Andre Roberts, as well as punt returner Jakeem Grant from the Chicago Bears. And lastly, special teamers Matthew Slater, New England Patriots, and Ashton Dunlin from the Indianapolis, with the long snapper Josh Harris. So when you look at it, there's a small, very small smidgen of an opportunity. That's at least 25 people that are selected to the All-Pro team. I guess it's kind of hard when you look at that competition, as you were saying, Cornelius, and take a look like Tom Brady, second teamer. He threw almost 5,000 yards this year, 43 touchdowns as a 44-year-old man.
With Tom Brady, I don't think it's so much about his stats and stuff like that. I think the only reason he's second team is because of my honest opinion. I think they put in the fact that, and this is just a speculation. I think if Tom was 5-10 years younger and with them same stats, he'd been a first team without question.
That he would have had it without a doubt.
Yeah, first team without question. I think it's just the fact that his age is playing a factor. I think they're looking at, okay, man, there's no way we can put this 44-year-old man in as a first team when we got the Josh or who made the first team quarterback? Who was
Aaron Rodgers, first team quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, when we got the Aaron Rodgers and stuff like that, they're not gonna put him over. In my opinion, they're not gonna put him over Aaron Rodgers, a younger guy.
So let me ask y'all this right quick. It just came to mind. There was a whopping disparity between the first team votes and second team votes for Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Do you think this is a prequel to who's going to be the MVP, or was this a consolation prize to Aaron Rodgers because they're going to probably give the MVP to Tom Brady?
I hate to say it, but Aaron Rodgers is going to win the MVP back-to-back, and it's only because of one thing that separates him and Tom Brady, and that's the accuracy interception. That interception thing is crazy. I think Aaron Rodgers threw like 4 interceptions all season if he threw that. Like the amount of touchdowns that he throws. If you go back the last 3-4 years, Aaron Rodgers probably hasn't thrown 10 touchdowns in those 3-4 years combined. You know, he doesn't turn the ball over. You know,
he doesn't. He really doesn't. And Cole he pretty much hit it on the head. I think the fact of the matter is that he's so accurate and he doesn't make mistakes. So he's a huge part. I think that alone is the reason why. That's the reason why Aaron Rodgers went over Tom Brady. But then again, excuse me, to be devil's advocate and flip it, a lot of people. I mean, you got to keep in mind too, Cole. We're talking about a 44-year-old Tom Brady still, and he's still doing things that he's doing at that age. He's still playing at a level, as though he's 10 years younger. So you kind of gotta kind of be like, well, damn, okay, got Aaron, he did all this. damn, Tom over here doing it at age 44. That no one's done that. You know what I'm saying? About to take has an opportunity to take Tampa Bay to the Super Bowl again at 44 years old. Who's done that? Like really? Like you really have to put that in consideration. In my opinion, you have to put that in consideration.
I mean, yes, I think of that. Don't get me wrong, Bishop. I think that that's a huge thing, but I also think that the way the league is right now, the narratives that they write is Aaron Rodgers, regular season. You know, I'm sure Tom Brady wouldn't mind if Aaron Rodgers got MVP in the regular season and he hoists another Lombardi trophy. I mean, I think the difference is Brady plays to win the whole thing, man, and that's where it's at with him. Anything short of a Super Bowl, you can keep all the fancy awards or whatever. You know, in the past, he's even said, "Hey, you can keep the money, right? Just give me the players I need to win with." So I think Tom Brady's, even though he's great at 44 years old, I don't think that it's going to hurt his feelings if they give that award to,
Oh no,
you know, if the MVP goes. You know, I think he's still going to go out there, you know, try to win this Super Bowl. That's what it's about with Brady.
When it's all said and done, yeah, he ain't gonna lose no sleep over MVP. He not, especially if he has an opportunity to win MVP in the Super Bowl. Which one holds more weight, Super Bowl MVP or league MVP? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Exactly.
Honestly, I hope neither one of them get to the Super Bowl. That's just me.
We know you don't. Yeah, we know you. Yeah. Yeah,
but
hey, don't do that too much because I know you know what? Yeah,
I am. We gonna get to it. I just saying, you know, this like on social media, I don't do no talking because like I don't do it, bro. Yeah, I don't do it. I don't do it because you're saying other times what I have noticed is other times in which I have done it, I always come up short on the other end. So
I learned to shut my mouth too because I feel like keep my mouth shut. Jinxing my team. I do. I feel like I'm jinxing my team.
I keep my mouth shut. Keep my mouth shut. So another thing that brings up, right? What I didn't realize last night, I took a look. Do you realize that from the 2004 NFL draft, Ben Roethlisberger was the only active player that was left still playing?
Yeah.
So, well, he was, of course. Last night was presumably his last game. Let me ask you, Cornelius, do you think that is Big Ben's last game? Do you think he would potentially get called back if needed in the services of another team, or you think he's done? It's over.
I think he's done in Pittsburgh. I think he's done in Pittsburgh. I think that's done. I think it's time for them to finally say, "Hey, we got the most out of you. It's time to move on," right? But I don't. I can't see a team right now that could really use Ben at this moment. Like what team would he go to? Out of if he leaves Pittsburgh, where else would he go? So I think it's the end of the road for Ben. I think
Let me ask you this though, Cole.
What was that?
Okay, let me ask you this. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you on that part. I don't feel like Ben can go anywhere to any team as far as being a starter quarterback. What if Ben could go to a team as a backup and maybe a mentor to help some of these young rookie quarterbacks that's in the league right now, like the Trevor Lawrence's, you know what I'm saying, well, depends on what Aaron Rodgers do, but the what's Rodgers backup
Love,
you know, or even a Jalen Hurts, you know, or even Justin Fields. Like, well, how do you feel about that? Him being and him coming in as a backup if necessary, but for most importantly, just being a mentor in your team.
Yeah, I could see something like that happening for him. Maybe not so much with a Trevor Lawrence, but like maybe somebody like a Jalen Hurts or something, or maybe even a Justin Fields in Chicago or something. I can see him maybe taking a backup role, but we also have to remember that Ben Roethlisberger has taken a lot of hits. Playing at AFC North is no slight. When you think about Ben, think about all those Ravens. The Ravens Steelers games, man. He's taken a lot of punishment. That's why I think that he's more so done. I don't think his body can take much more. So a backup role, maybe even a quarterback coach role, maybe not right away, but maybe down the line. So at some
I'm,
point, yeah, I could definitely see that.
I'm about to
I
say,
can
what
see
y'all
him as
think? Do
I can
y'all
see him
think?
as a Byron Leftwich.
I was about to ask that. Yeah, do you
Yeah,
see potentially as a buyer Leftwich
I can see
offensive
that.
coordinator,
I can see
maybe
that.
say cutting his teeth to where he might be a coach at some point, maybe even the coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, I don't know.
I
Let's
definitely
say
now you know what, Trey, with you saying that, I definitely see if Ben does go ahead and retires and puts the uniform, hangs the uniform up. I definitely see the Steelers organization bringing him back in and playing some type of role in regards to coaching. I can definitely see that happening because I feel like he has a huge camaraderie with Tomlin, and they have a huge, that the rapport between the two of them. I think I could definitely see that happening in the near future because right now with being gone, I don't really care. And y'all help me, Trey Cole. Y'all help both of y'all help me. Who do y'all really know who Pittsburgh quarterback is gonna be once Ben leaves? So like really
Uh,
like honestly.
so.
whoo,
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
no.
Exactly.
So, did y'all not think that love is starting to show some glimpse of? No, you shook your head pretty hard, Bishop. Like you don't think?
Love
Yeah,
in Pittsburgh?
yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm thinking about Green Bay. You're
You
right.
talking
You're
about
right.
Green Bay? Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
talking about in Pittsburgh. I'm saying if Ben hangs up them shoulder pads and
true,
helmet,
true. Yeah, yeah.
who is the backup that
Currently,
y'all see to take over?
it's even
um,
right now. You would think it would be Haskins
right.
or
But is Haskins that dude? Like, do you
we ain't
see
seen him, but
him
has he been
right?
injured? Like he hasn't been in uniform for a while. It's like I don't know if he's injured or he just
Point
or
made.
he's.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
think
I would think they brought him there for a reason.
yeah,
Haskins, yeah.
I think they'll bring him in as some. I think Haskins will get a shot, maybe preseason.
Mm-hmm.
This upcoming preseason, off season and stuff. I think he might get a look, but let's just keep it real. It's the Steelers. They have the door open. It's certain quarterbacks out there that like what is. I think a lot of
That
teams are going
part.
to wait and see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. One,
That part. Aaron Rodgers, Russell
and don't
Wilson,
forget
Deshaun
Tomlin.
Watson.
I'm gonna say Tomlin is like a second chance guy, man. You can't sleep over the Deshaun Watson sitting down there wasting his
That
time in
part.
Houston. It's gonna be some quarterbacks that can move, and I think Russell Wilson might consider it. Not I think he
That
might
part.
consider something like a Pittsburgh and teaming up with a Tomlin. You know,
But do you do that, Cole? Do you go for time? Now, not some not, of course a lot of it has depending on Deshaun and with his case, a lot of that is depending on what goes on with that. But if you, Cole, if you're a general manager or coach and you have some input on what happens in regards to the next quarterback coming into your franchise as far as the Pittsburgh Steelers is concerned, do you go for a quarterback in the draft?
in the draft, it's not too
Especially
many.
with Ben gone, especially if Ben leaves, yes. Do you go for a quarterback in the draft?
I think you have to explore that, but it's not too. But what college quarterback dominated this year that's going to be in the draft?
It didn't.
What
But Cole, facts.
Just like you
But what
said.
but hold on, but this is the thing. Who knew Ben from college?
exactly? Yeah,
Who knew Ben from
it's
college?
like
Nobody. Who knew Tom Brady from college? Nobody.
right, right. But I look
So
at it like Pittsburgh. They haven't really shown interest in quarterbacks since Ben Roethlisberger in the
right,
draft, really. So
right.
that might be an option. Like the teams like the Steelers, good organizations like that. They always, if you notice, they always find a way to stay relevant. They find a way to stay in the hunt for the Lombardi Trophy. Even if it's just making a wild card weekend or whatever, they find a way to stay competitive. So I think Tomlin will find a way to be competitive. Whether it's in the draft, like I said, I don't know. The draft landscape looks bare, so I
Yes.
really think I really
I
think
agree.
the Steelers as well as the Indianapolis Colts, who said they're not sold on Carson Wentz right now. By the way, I think they're waiting to see the fallout of the
Facts.
Rodgers and the Russell Wilson, the two big names, to see where those go, and then I think they'll make determinations from there.
That's true. I mean, and the Rodgers, yeah, the Suns, and yeah, the Russell Wilsons. I think that's, and I'm kind of wondering what Mike Tomlin is thinking now that they got bounced out last night. What's his thought process like? Right now, we know they're in the, they may be taking the day off because of what today is and stuff like that. But tomorrow, I'm sure they back at the drawing board trying to figure out what should we go to.
But
Should we go to the draft
it's
or should we try and get one of these seasoned quarterbacks to bring in?
interestingly enough, y'all both said something that might be key. As y'all know, Russell Wilson is thinking and wondering about exploring other options. So, do
Well,
you
he was thinking
see?
about that at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, but yeah, now he's coming out and saying, like, saying before it was all speculation that he's saying, but now it seems like he's being a little more boisterous with it. Do
Mm-hmm.
you think that? I mean, I prefer would rather see Deshaun in Pittsburgh with those weapons. But do you think? Yeah, for real. Do
Boy,
y'all think?
Deshaun go there.
What do you think about
Ooh.
Russell? What do you think about Russell there?
I feel like
I think
Russell. I feel like Russell would be a good fit. But me personally, if I'm Tomlin and I'm able to get Deshaun, I'm going for Deshaun because of the youth factor. Now I'm solidifying and possibly making myself to be the coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers for many, many more years with Deshaun compared to Russell. My personal opinion, I don't know if I got that much more how much more time I got with Russell. With Deshaun, feel like I got at least 5 to 10 more years. You know what I'm saying? With Russell. I mean with Deshaun. What you think, Cole?
uh I think I would go, you know, if he clears everything, get the controversy out of the way, I would definitely give Deshaun Watson that look because it's like you said, Bishop. It's like y'all saying he's younger, and actually at this point, I think the way he was playing before, I think he was going to be a better quarterback than a Russell Wilson
Totally
at
agree.
this stage, right? I think any team that considers Russell Wilson, especially Pittsburgh, what you have to consider is can you change his mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Pete Carroll has basically said, you know what, we're going all in with this quarterback. We're not going. Pete Carroll, a defensive mind, changed his whole philosophy and went in on a quarterback, and that didn't work out, right? Uh, it also makes Russell looks a little petty because it's like, hey man, they gave you the keys to the city, they gave you everything you wanted, and you still weren't able to get anything done, and you complain. So I think that Tomlin's the type that he went through it with the AB, he went through it with the Le'Veon Bells. I'm not
That
sure if
part.
Russell comes with that mentality, he's not having it. I mean, you know what I mean?
Right. That part.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
that
you
part. And
come
not
and you
only
want to,
and not only that, dude, my question for y'all is right now, in regards to us talking about Deshaun, him not playing this entire season, do y'all think that hurts him trying to be in, trying to find a team or a team wanting to bring him in, being that no one's seen him all season long?
So I think that's a double-edged sword. I think what happened is if Deshaun has been working out and doing what he has to do, because technically it wasn't like he was injured. He was able to stay with the team. He was just a healthy scratch for every game. So I think it might be a situation if they can get this, if he can get everything handled, i.e. that his civil cases and everything handled early in the off season, that
Mm-hmm.
gives him an opportunity to look and see where potentially he can go, what he can go do, and it gives him an opportunity to go there and kind of get implemented, get back into it, get some more play under his belt, and have him ready to go. We're not talking about implementing him in the middle of the season where he's just coming in, he hasn't played at all. He gets a whole nother off season to make things happen. If we wait till later in the season to do that and he gets traded, then of course now I think you're gonna have problems. But I think with enough time he should be good. But of course, what's lingering is those sexual assault cases, which is keep putting a damper on his career. Hell, I would think his life as well.
Mm.
right. I think I agree with Trey in the respect that um, he should be fresh. Like it wasn't like he was playing awful or he's coming back off a serious injury or anything. He was just sitting out. So I think with the right situation, learning the playbook and things like that. I think also you know I want to take this moment just to say a lot of times, man, like what Deshaun Watson is going through right now. I don't want to speculate on different things, but a young man in his 20s, and his life's flipped up like that. I just wonder if I worry more about the mental state, the mental and emotional state,
Facts.
more
Facts.
so than I worry about his physical play on the field. Like, is he going to
Facts.
be focused the same? Is he going to have that same winning mentality that he had before that happened?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I look at. Is he going to be that same strong leader for an organization that he was, before everything happened?
Facts. I totally agree with Cole with that in regards to that, and I think that plays a huge part in bringing him in any organization, even if he does come back to Houston. You know what I'm saying? That mental aspect, to be out the game this long, where is his mental at in regards to not being able to play? Some people, some athletes need the game to be able to focus and to be able to function, and he may be that individual. Who knows? And for him not to be able to play the entire season and just sit the sideline like he's like Cole said, a young man sitting on the sideline or sitting at home watching your team play, knowing and seeing how bad they're playing. You as a quarterback, you're dissecting the defense on the screen while you're watching them play, seeing ways that you can do stuff and you're not able to do. It's like your hands being tied behind your back. So I totally agree with Cole with that. His mental is probably more important than anything else when it comes to bringing him into any organization, even if he's coming back to Houston.
That's where that resiliency comes in. That definitely gotta talk to them people. Be strong enough to talk to people about your situations and issues and problems to get it out, or however saying different things. So hopefully of course, Deshaun, and like I believe it's like the physicality of the game is one thing. That's a small percentage. So definitely the mental is where we lose sight of the situations, because everyone just thinks that comes natural with the athleticism, but that's one thing in which you have to be able to work out as well to do those mental reps and get that mind right when you take into this. So real quick before we get into the meat and potatoes of this NFL, gentlemen, uh Ben Roethlisberger, first ballot or
Yes,
no? First ballot?
yes, yes.
Yes,
But
first
Hall of Fame,
ballot.
yes, yeah, yeah.
That's a lot of people he's gonna end up jumping with it. But I mean, and that's what's
It's
funny
worth.
when you
I mean, when it goes back to when it's all said and done, Trey, it goes back to what we talked about the other day. His signature while in Pittsburgh, he didn't have a losing season, just like Mike Tomlin, because he was there the entire
was
time
a
Mike Tomlin
quarterback,
was there.
yeah.
He didn't have a losing season. That
Two
used a
two
whole,
what was it, two Super Bowls?
yeah, and it was a heavy. I mean, that right there pretty much solidifies him as a first ballot. I mean, come on, man. I
Yeah.
mean, don't get me wrong. The stats play a huge part too, but for you not to have a losing season as a quarterback, that says a lot, bro. That says a lot. And you a starter the entire time, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, first
I think
ballot.
he's overlooked. When you say that,
Yeah,
and think about it, he's definitely overlooked for the most
yeah,
part. It is what we started, especially in our era. Us
right.
being in our 40s and above. You're going to see a lot of those people who we looked at as like, oh, definitely. Where a lot of people, everyone can't go into the Hall of Fame in one swoop. So when his name come up on that ballot, it's going to be unfortunate for somebody because he's going to push him to the back.
Facts,
Yeah.
facts.
Yep.
And it's going to continue like that for some years, probably, as people come up was like, hey, this person retired. Hey, eligibility, first year. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you gonna have people
Yep.
that doesn't agree with it. Don't get me wrong. You are gonna have those people that don't agree with it, but when it's all said and done, proof is in the pudding, man. Proof is in the pudding. It is what it is. And a lot of people gonna be like, "Oh, he shouldn't have jumped this individual. He shouldn't have jumped that individual." But it is what it is. A winning
Oh
record is
yeah.
a winning record.
Right.
So, of course, like you were saying, yesterday started off with the Super WildCard Weekend. You had
Well, actually, Saturday.
Saturday,
Yeah.
correction, I stand corrected. Saturday started off with the Super WildCard Weekend. AFC was on deck. The first game was the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Uh, I didn't catch all this game. Hey, Sauce, what's good, bro? What's going
I'm
on?
glad he's on here.
Yes,
Good
sir.
morning, AP.
Just more.
Yeah,
Hey
I'm
man, hey,
glad you here,
Brian
man.
Jones, where you at? Don't run. Don't you run from me. Hey, come on, fall
Bring
in because
all the heat.
we got something to
Bring
talk
all the
about.
heat. Yeah,
Mhm.
bring all the heat.
Yes, yes, yes. So of course the Las Vegas Raiders first off against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. The Bengals was victorious 26-19 to go on to the divisional round. Derek Carr for the Las Vegas Raiders was 29 to 54. 54 balls, bruh. 54, 29 for 54, 310 yards. 1 TD, 1 interception. Josh Jacobs, leading rusher with 13 carries for 83 yards. And of course, their leading receiver, first game back, I think Darren Waller, 7 receptions for 76 yards. Their Hunter Renfro, 8 yards, 8 receptions for 58 yards. Uh, the Bengals, of course, was led by no other than Joe Burrow, 24
Joe Thorough.
Joe Burrow thorough.
Yeah.
24 completions, 34 attempts, 244 yards, 2 interceptions. Correction, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Joe Mixon, 17 carries for 48 yards. And of course, your man, Jamar Chase, 9 receptions,
Come on. There goes
116
that
yards.
man again.
Bruh, is it like, do they not have, does he have a cheat code, or is it like, can they just
Right.
not, is he just not
Jamar Chase is playing.
unstoppable?
Jamar Chase is playing. Jamar out there playing Madden. I'm just gonna be. I'm gonna be completely honest. Jamar Chase is out there playing Madden. Man. That boy there, man. They can. It's like no one can do anything with that dude. Like they did everything they possibly could to try and start Jamar Chase, bro, and they couldn't. They couldn't, man. And
Right.
man, that Joe Burrow thorough Burrow, bruh, he could possibly be everybody, like I said, everybody talking about Patrick Mahomes, the Matt Jones, the Josh Allen. Man, y'all better be worried about this man, Joe Thorough Burrow. Cause that boy plays ball. That boy balls. He balls. For real, for real. He balls out,
Well,
bro.
well, Bishop's not gonna like what I'm gonna say. I like Jamar
Oh,
Chase. I like Joe Burrow. I'm just not a huge believer in
That he's that man
history
yet?
of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
That
oh, the
organization
team. The
they
team.
find ways they find ways to mess things up, even when they have a good thing going. Like they find ways to completely like dismantle great things. So I hope that they're thinking long term with those with specifically those 2 players, and the mix that they have right now. With Mixon running, he's a good runner. I hope that they're trying to play. They got a good core defense, things like that. I hope that they're trying to play long term and let these guys find their stride. And it's going to start with maybe biggest thing with teams like them and keeping a coach. You might want to keep coaches winning, right? Don't put so much emphasis on winning right now instead of giving a coach 2 or 3 years. You might want to give this one 5 to let those players fully
Give him
develop.
opportunity. Yeah.
And I also just want to say I'm a huge fan of the Jamar Chase, the route running. Man, the young bro runs those routes and like why he's open.
And the
You
speed
could
don't help it
say
either,
he's
bro. Like, you don't know
reliable
what he
because
doing.
right, but that route running, that precision route running is unbelievable for a rookie. You know,
Like he does it with such ease, bro. Like Cole said, you would think he's been in the league for 10 years already. The way he runs his routes,
yeah,
man. He does it with such ease, and he finds a way to get open all the time. And even when he isn't open, he still makes plays. That's what's so great about him. He still makes plays. So man, I mean, I totally agree with Cole though. Cincinnati has been their worst downfall, the team itself. Um, and a lot of people, I feel like when Joe went to Cincinnati, I know a lot of people was like, well, that might be the end of his career. Just like people feel about when you go to the Jets and stuff like that. That's the end of his career as a rookie quarterback. But Joe, I mean, I'm rooting for him. I am. I'm rooting for him and Jamar. I really am. This is the first time that Cincinnati, I think, has made it this far in the playoffs in years.
Yeah, 30
And,
a good
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, a good
31
amount of
years,
years. 31 years, I
yeah.
think it was. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
yeah, good amount of time. Joe has put that team back on the map thus far. Man, shouts out to him, man. They played a great. It was a good game, though. It was a real good game. Not taking anything away from Carr. I do agree with Freddie. Uh, Vegas did kind of like shoot themselves in the foot.
Did you think, do you think the officials helped a little bit?
Man, so the whistle blow, the I get it. Again, and this is something that Applewhite we're gonna have to talk about when it comes to the Maryland Cowboys, because a lot of people put a lot of blame on the officials. And I made this post on Applewhite's post yesterday in regards to their game and the Cowboys. My coach always told me, Don't leave it in the officials' hands. Play to win. You know what I'm saying? Don't give the official even an opportunity. If you go in there and smack them in the mouth, you smack them in the mouth. Just like I'm gonna say this, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Guess what? Ain't nobody complaining about no officiating. You know why? Because Tampa Bay went out and smacked Philly in the mouth. There was no nothing about any officiating. I could have said a whole bunch of stuff about the officiating in regards to how they was hitting Jalen Hurts. I know we ain't on that game, but I could say I'm just gonna make a point about in regards to the officiating. I could have said a whole lot about how they kept hitting Hurts way late after he was throwing the ball. Never, not one flag came out on quarterback. Roughing the quarterback. Not one time. But if it was Tom Brady, it would have been different. But it never came out. No flags ever came out about that. And the reason why I never said anything is because of the fact Tampa Bay beat the brakes off us. Ain't nothing to talk about, bro. There's nothing to talk about. They beat the brakes off. They slapped the Philadelphia Eagles in the mouth. So you can't leave it to the official. Yeah, it might have been an inverted whistle. It is what it is. Play through the whistle. You should continue to play. I know they tell you stop at the whistle, but it is what it is, man. It ain't like, yeah, could that have been a deciding factor? Yeah, because it was 26-19. Who's to say? Who's to say? I don't know, but I personally feel like, yeah, you gotta, the whistle. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I heard that, but I did hear
I
that
think
that official crew. My bad,
It's
Cole.
done.
It's done. Yeah, that's their. They're not doing no more games this rest of this playoff.
and that's what I was going to say. I think I agree with everybody to play through the whistle. I agree that you shouldn't let it come down to the officiating. I just think it was a bad explanation for that call, as far as the whistle was clearly during the play and not after the catch was made. So I think that's the only place where the officials dropped the ball. I mean, if you would just say that, hey, you know what, we let them play on, it was an accidental whistle, because you could see the Raiders defender right there, like he knew he was beat. He didn't even make a play for the ball at all. So,
Facts.
that had nothing to do with the whistle. He realized he was beat. He realized he wasn't going to make that play. So he had already, put his head down a little bit. He had already had given up. So if Raider fans are trying to use that as an excuse of, let's look at the penalties, and, the penalties every time it seemed like they were going to make a move. And then also look at some of the no knock against the coach. Bisaccia did an all right job, getting them there and all that. But I don't think they were prepared enough for what the Bengals were doing out there. Especially Carr was under harassment a lot of that game. If you really watched that game,
If you
it
watch
wasn't about sacks.
yeah,
It was about being in his
pressure,
face. It was about that pressure. And
Pressure.
most NFL quarterbacks cave to that pressure, that amount of pressure. He started throwing the ball a little shorter. The ball started, instead of hitting them in the hands, is landing at their feet now when that pressure starts getting to you after a while. I think that's where the game, in my opinion, that's where the Bengals dominated, especially stretches of that game at the line of scrimmage that changed that game. So Raider fans, you really lost that game due to your coaching and the players on the field. Sometimes the players have to go out there and play.
facts. That part. That part.
So, saying, to bring up being unprepared, the second game of the night, the New England Patriots went up to
Wow.
Buffalo, in which the
Wow.
game, a molly whopping of sorts. The Patriots lost
Slaughtered.
47-17, with the Bills coming up victorious. Of course, the rookie Mac Jones, 24 completions for 38 attempts, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He didn't get much help from his constituents with the 9 carries and 30 yards for Damien Harris. But of course, there wasn't going to be much of a run game when you was already down 21-0 in the first half. Kendrick Bourne, a top receiver for the Patriots, 7 receptions, 77 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. But of course, that man, I'm starting to really become a fan. Josh Allen, 21 completions, 25 attempts, 308 yards for 5 touchdowns. Devin Singletary, he started becoming his own right, 16 carries for 81 yards. And that man, These tight ends are starting to really make a difference for their squads. Dawson Knox, 5 receptions for 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. Gabriel Davis and Emmanuel Sanders both added a touchdown respectively off the 2 receptions. What do y'all think this says for the Buffalo Bills? Was it just a matter of catching New England uh, and taking care of business, or are the Bills primed and ready and finna mow through the AFC?
Well, Trey, let me ask you this first, real quick. I'm starting the ball. Facts, Zach, facts. Trey, between you and what not Cole, but who from our
Ron?
picks, Ron, thank you.
Yes.
From you and Ron, who y'all pick for that game?
All of it was a clean sweep. The Bills.
Okay, the Bills. But however, if I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna go relook at that taping on Friday. But if I'm not mistaken, y'all was saying that the Patriots had a better run defense and that the Bills was not going to be able to pass in that game. That y'all said that the passing game was going to pretty much be obsolete. I'm almost 100% positive that both you and Ron said that. And if you didn't say it, I know Ron said it.
Ron probably said it. I think my thing was more of the fact I thought it was going to be a snow bowl, and that was going to play a factor because remember I brought up the fact that
it was still cold, man. It was still cold. And
but
the wind was supposed to be 13 miles per hour. But
when they played Atlanta, it was snowed out and all that type of stuff. So that's what I was more so thought it was going to be a factor. But I mean, Josh Allen, man, he came out running.
No, he came out that too, but he came out passing.
He had 66 yards rushing himself, like
by
himself. Like they came out, like people got to pay attention to Josh Allen, man.
Did y'all see the ankles he did?
Oh, he was fast. Oh my goodness,
God.
he was catching bodies left and right.
Ankles, bro. I said Josh Allen.
For me, it was. First of all, I want to say I never saw a Bill Belichick team go out there and get beat like that. I've seen them lose before, but I never. Did you see the body language of the players? I'm just gonna say this. That first run, I think Josh Allen's his first run, he ran for like 26 yards.
Yes.
Did you see the star defensive player for the for the New England Patriots, Matt Judon? I mean, did you see the uncharacteristic play of that brother, man? It's like. I don't even think Josh Allen shook him. I just think he was cold. I don't think he was ready. I mean, you know what I mean?
Like you said, the mentality, that middle, like, right. Yo.
I don't even think he got shook. I thought he was just cold. Like, his reaction was like, oh, he running. Like, this is what he does, right? Like, I think that set the tone for the game. But I also want to say this, fellas. Week 13, if you go back, the Patriots Pop wanted those guys, man. They pee-wee football the Buffalo Bills, and I think that coming back in Week 16 and what you saw in the Super WildCard Weekend is that the Buffalo Bills players took it up on themselves to say nobody's ever going to push us around like that again. Nobody's ever going to come in our house or anywhere. Nobody's going to throw 3 passes against us and run 40 times, and we know it's coming, and we can't stop it. I think big props have to go to that Buffalo Bill defense of saying, hey, you know what? We're not going to tolerate that. We're not going to take that. We're going to stand up and we're going to show you who we are. And, they went out there and they said, hey, you popped one of us, so now we're going to embarrass you twice, right? I mean, that's what I got from it.
I totally agree with Cole, man. I like to watch Josh Allen just pick that defense apart, man. I know Bill was like thinking, like, man. Bill was like, I don't know, this ain't my team. Like, where's my team? Right. These boys right here is running through us, running like the Knox. You would have thought Knox was Gronkowski's little brother. That boy was bowling. He was like they could not stop Knox. They could not. He catching everything on these boys. And Josh just said, "Bro, I'm that man. Y'all can say what y'all want to say about but y'all better keep my name in your mouth. You better keep my name in your mouth, bro. I'm here. I'm here to show y'all, man. I'm here to show y'all. And to punch the GOAT of coaches, the GOAT of coaches in the mouth like that, boy, they said a statement, bro. Yeah. And again, another game that you ain't hear nothing about officiating. Why? Because they bust them in the mouth.
Right.
They busted him. It was clear cut. They got busted him out. Nothing about officiating in that game whatsoever.
No.
Again, because they got blown out. It is
So
what it is.
another blowout. So fellas, tell me, do you think this was a statement? Of course, the Kansas City Chiefs were victorious, 42-21 over the said Pittsburgh Steelers, in which we talked about. Ben Roethlisberger in his last potential game, 29 completions, 44 attempts, 215 yards with 2 touchdowns. Najee Harris. Now that's who we thought was going to have a game. Najee Harris was
Did he fumble
held.
that ball like I said he did? Was he
He
going
did. He had his first fumble at the end of the game.
I did not say he was going to have his
For
first fumble in that
12,
game.
12 carries, 29 yards. James Washington, 2 receptions, 37 yards. Deontay Johnson, 5 receptions, 34 yards. Juju Smith-Schuster, 5 receptions, 26 yards. Not a single player had over 40 yards receiving for the Steelers. Of course, Patrick Mahomes, 30 for 39,
Ooh.
404 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jarek McKinnon,
Killed him.
61 yards rushing on 12 attempts. Mahomes had 29 himself on 3 attempts. Travis Kelce, again, attack of the tight ends, 5 receptions, 108 yards. McKinnon, 6 receptions, 81 yards. Just throwing the ball. Tyreek Hill, 5 receptions, 57 yards. DeMarcus Robinson, 4 receptions, 76 yards. The Chiefs came to play. Do y'all think this was another statement, or was it a matter of the Chiefs just imposing their will and doing what everyone thought they was going to do?
I'm gonna tell y'all real quick, and I'm gonna just say this, Cole, and I'm gonna let you have it. Y'all better worry about the Chiefs, bro. Not taking anything from them Buffalo Bills, the Buccaneers, or any other the Bengals. Y'all better worry about them Chiefs, bro. Them boys was hitting on all cylinders last night. I'm telling y'all, they look like the Chiefs are old. They look like the Super Bowl champion Chiefs. I'm telling y'all better worry about them. Cole, you got it.
I agree with Bishop a little bit that they did look pretty impressive. I think I
I see
think
you, AP.
with them is to me is never what their offense is going to do. I think their defense finally said, "Hey, you know what? Enough is enough. We got to come to play every game." Because if you followed the Chiefs this season, sometimes their
Absolutely, bro.
defense it seemed like they weren't going all out until certain points in the game, and then hey, you know what? We'll make plays here. But I think yesterday they had that mentality that we're going to make plays from start to finish. If they keep that mentality, then of course they're going to be front runners in the AFC. Um, you know, as a matter of fact, you know, like they're the defending AFC champs. And yeah, it does look like, you know, it's going to be another head-on collision with them and the Bills in the AFC Championship game. But I will say this: I wouldn't get too far ahead of myself because if you don't think that Joe Burrow and the Bengals are going to come to play, you know, next week, I think it's going to be more interesting. It's going to be close, and let's not forget the Bengals can play better defense. The Bengals have a better team than the Steelers, so.
But Cole, the Bengals got the Titans next week.
Oh
Do
yeah, they
they?
playing the Titans. Sorry about that. Yeah,
Yeah, they
you're
got
right.
the
They
Titans
playing the
next.
Titans. So it's going to
Yeah.
be Kansas
Chiefs out
City
the
and the
Bills.
Bills next week. So they won't
Yeah,
get
they
to the
got Josh.
AFC Championship game.
Yeah, they got Josh.
Um, well, in that case, I still look at it the same way that the
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs they can be the front runners if that defense continues to play. That game solely going to come down to how they guard. You know, like they played against Ben Roethlisberger, not a mobile quarterback. So you know,
Right.
I think
Josh
having
is
two mobile
definitely like that.
quarterbacks. I think having
Josh
two
is
mobile
definitely
quarterbacks.
yeah.
I think having two mobile quarterbacks on the field is going to make a difference. But I think the biggest factor is Andy Reid over there, man. You know, Andy Reid has figured out a way to finally start winning big games and not losing them. You know, he was up in Philly and he couldn't really deliver with the big games. I think Andy Reid has figured out a lot. I think he has that team ready to play, especially right now in the playoffs. And I think I won't say Patrick Mahomes. Is playing lights out. But another game like that, then you can make an argument that you know he's all the way ready. Remember earlier in the season, everybody was talking about Mahomes had fallen off, but
Mm-hmm.
I think he's picking it
Facts.
up at the right time.
Facts. And that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying when everybody was saying that he was falling off. A lot of times, the Kansas City Chiefs, that's what they're good at, man. They come back in the late and come back and they find themselves. And I feel like that's where they are right now. They find themselves now. I ain't making my predictions just yet because those games are
Yeah, we
coming up.
got
We got a
time. Yeah,
whole we definitely got more than enough time in the week to make our prediction. But that Chiefs and Bills game, like I totally agree with Cole, and I believe Trey gonna agree. Josh Allen ain't a being. So
yeah.
you damn sure gonna best believe
Strap in.
they gonna definitely gonna have to put a spy out on Josh. Cause I would hate to see some ankles get caught out there on that field again, on that Chiefs field again. But Bills are traveling to Kansas City and going to Arrowhead. So that may play a factor. But I'm just saying, yeah, Josh is definitely not a big bet. So it's gonna play. But man, shouts out to Kansas City for coming out there and again another game. You get nothing about officiating because they got punched in the mouth.
Right.
So
Punched in the mouth.
we starting to see a rhetoric and build here. So another team in which presumably might have been punched in the mouth. Going over to the NFC side, the Philadelphia Eagles traveled down to Tampa Bay, taking on the Buccaneers. Buccaneers was victorious 31-15 in their game. Jalen Hurts 23 completions, 43 yards, 258 yards passing, one TD, two interceptions. He was the leading scorer with eight rushes for 39 yards. Dallas Goedert, another tight end, leading the pack, six receptions for 92 yards. Devontae Smith, the last year's Heisman Trophy winner, this year's Heisman Trophy winner, four receptions, 60 yards. Last year, 60 yards. And Gainwell, another running back, five receptions, 49 yards. The Buccaneers, however, of course, Tom Brady did his thing, 29 for 37, 271 yards with two touchdowns. Keyshawn Vaughn led the pack with 17 carries, 53 yards. Giovanni Bernard, 13 for 44. Leading receivers, of course, no other than Mike Evans with 9 receptions, 117 yards. Fellas, again, was this what we thought was going to happen, or was it just the Tampa Bay Buccaneers came out with a plan different for what Philadelphia thought, and they couldn't recover? Bishop, I know these are your Eagles, so what did you see? Was it a Sirianni problem, or it was nothing they could have done?
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, it was Nick Sirianni's fault. Again, this is a head coach who is a quarterback and wide receiver coach. So his mindset is always throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing the damn ball. And that is the wrong answer. When you have Miles Sanders back there, all right, Jordan,
All
we
right,
appreciate
Jordan.
you, man. Have a great day, bro. Thank you for tuning in. When you have two good running backs behind your quarterback, run the damn. Our first touchdown was a rushing touchdown. Our first touchdown was a rushing touchdown, bro. Run the damn ball, man. Why do you have a problem with running the ball? Good Lord. I feel like a lot of people say Jalen Hurts was the reason why the Philadelphia Eagles lost the game. He does have to take ownership to a lot of mistakes in which he made. Man, oh my God. He missed some wide open plays. He did. But again, this is just his second year. He doesn't have no mentorship out there. This is one of the things in which I talked about the other day, Trey. He doesn't have a mentor to help him with that out there in Philly. He needs a seasoned quarterback, in my opinion, quarterback to help him. Not taking anything from quarterback coaches or anything like that, but I just feel like he needs somebody in his pocket saying, hey, look, man, you missed this. You need to see this. You need to see that. You need to understand this. You need to understand that. He was just making some key mistakes. But, however, a lot of that responsibility also falls on Nick. Stop putting him in those positions. You're putting him in a position to fail. Exactly. Jalen Hurts is inexperienced. Absolutely. I totally agree with you, AP. Nick Sirianni, you're putting him in a position to fail. Run the ball. I don't care if we don't get major yards in running the ball. It's going to force the linebackers to step up. And then you do some play action and make some plays down the field. But God, they stop setting your quarterback up for failure. And I totally 100% agree that he set up Jalen for failure in all aspects, man. For one, I've never seen a team who has one of the most prolific wide receivers. And the only reason why he's not in the talks with like Jamar Chase and all of them is because he doesn't get the ball, he don't get the touches like Jamar Chase and all the other premier wide receivers. Why are you continuously running wide receiver screens all the damn time? Like that is his go-to play. If you know Philly, you know he's finna do a wide receiver screen or he's finna throw the running back out in the flats and try and let him do something in the open field. Come on, bro. Like golly.
Yeah, I heard.
Do you have just 10 plays in mind that you just want to run? Because that you run the same 10 plays all the damn time, bro. Like I swear, I promise God, I feel like you Pop Warner coach. Because you running the same 10 plays that you just feel like are just your go-to plays. Like every run it to the left, run it to the right. Oh, we didn't run it to the right again. Let's go run it to the left again. I think we can make it happen over here. No, Nick, run the ball. Run the damn ball and stop making these dumb plays. Now, not taking anything from GOAT, Tom Brady. Man is a bad man, and we couldn't do nothing with Gronk. We couldn't do nothing with Gronk. We couldn't do nothing with Mike Evans. They had 4 key people out of their game, and we still defensively couldn't do nothing. But then when the defense did make stops, but the offense couldn't do a damn thing. We couldn't even move the ball. We couldn't even move the damn ball, man. And with that, man, it's just sad. It's just sad. I'm so sad. My personal opinion, this is my last thing about it. Get rid of Nick.
You think so? I think
yeah.
I think it was the lack of confidence in Jalen Hurts in that game, and it showed. The head coach didn't really think that that Hurts could be effective moving the ball downfield. It's like that's why you see a lot of the screen passes, a lot of the same plays over and over. And I also think that he didn't want to make the adjustment. I agree with you. It comes down to coaching, but he saw that Tampa Bay's defense. Let's face it, they're good laterally. They're good sideline to sideline. But if you run the ball at the edges, I think you stand a chance. Vita Vea was back, so I don't see you really running up the middle all that consistently. But if you run at the edges, if you run at White and those guys on the edges, I think you have a chance, right? But what I didn't see from Philly in that game, coaching wise, I never saw an adjustment. Even when Philly started playing decent defense, I never saw the adjustment defensively to you got to bracket Gronk at that. You got to know who Brady's going to when he needs certain things. Mike Evans is Mike Evans, right? Mm-hmm. But so inside the red zone, Brady's going to look for either him or Gronk, right? But to get yards up and down the field, if he has to make a first down, he's looking at Gronk number 87. So I just didn't see them taking that away from him. You got to take that away, make it challenging, make him think about it at least, right? I mean, Tom Brady is Tom Brady, but if he can throw the ball every time at 2 seconds, you're never going to beat them like that. It's like make him hold it and think about it. At least make him think about it a little bit.
Did we even see Tom be pressured to where he had to come out the pocket? I didn't see Tom come out the pocket one time. He didn't come out the pocket, and then like Cole said. That touchdown he threw to Gronk wasn't nobody. Oh my God! In the back of the end zone, nobody was there. How do you not account for his top receiver who's on the field? How do you not account for him in the back of the end zone, bro? Who is coaching that defense? How does Gronk become wide open in the back of the end zone? That's just dumb. That just makes no sense.
That's true, Dante. Yeah.
And like he was, like I was just saying, basically, because you got to think it should have been a point to where Tom should not have been in the game anymore, especially while they was getting sacking. So it wasn't there was no threat. Obviously, there was no threat.
I feel like good question, Zach, and I do feel like he can still. My whole thing, and I've said this numerous times, just like I was talking about with Cole and Trey a minute ago, in regards to the Jalen Hurts, to the Jalen Hurts, the Trevor Lawrences, old boy out of Chicago, what's his name?
Justin Fields.
I feel like they need mentors, bro. I feel like they need that guy in their ear on the sideline, talking to them, giving them pointers, helping them, calming them down. I'm not saying that these things aren't happening, but I feel like they need that, bro. I feel like they need that. Just like when we was in the military, which we used this example before. When you come into a new duty station, especially as a private or whatever airman or whatever you are. You come in brand new. What do? They don't just stick you out there and let you just run for it. No, they give you some OJT. They match you up with somebody who's experienced and get you in line on what to do for whatever your job description is. They don't just throw you to the wolves and just let you try. Oh, you go out there and just figure it out. No, because you could hurt someone, hurt yourself, kill someone, whatever. No, you can't do that. You gotta mentor that soldier, airman, cadet, whatever. You gotta do. You
Sailor,
gotta, yeah, sailor.
Marine,
Yeah. You gotta mentor that person. You gotta go in to come in and let him. Hey, look, you're gonna take baby steps. You gotta take baby steps. You gotta crawl before we walk. And I just feel like for those type of quarterbacks, that's what I feel. I hope Jalen stays there. My hopes is that Nick goes because I feel like he's not the answer. In my personal opinion, I say he's not the answer. Even when we was winning, I still don't feel like Nick is the answer because he does not believe in running the ball at all. He does not. We had Cole. Do you know we had 11 rushes in the first half? The score was 17-0 at halftime. 11 rushes in the first. That's 5 rushes a quarter.
Yep.
Seriously? When you got Miles Sanders, we're leading in rushing, and you got Miles Sanders, and we have a total of 11 rushes in the first half, bro. Come on, man. That's uncalled for. That's uncalled for, bro.
Yeah.
Of course, with the last game of the night, the last day game of the slate, and most important, I know, of course, I'm gonna let you lead off with this one, Cornelius, because I know this is near and dear to your heart. The San Francisco 49ers traveled over to AT&T Stadium, play in Jerry's World, and were able to be victorious, coming out with a 23-17 win. There was no controversy, but there was a lot of nail biting there. Of course, the Cowboys, Dak Prescott was 23 for 43, 254 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Zeke led the rushing with 12 carries, 31 yards. Dak, 4 carries, 27 yards. Again, another attack at the tight end. Dalton Schultz, 7 receptions, 89 yards. Amari Cooper, 6 receptions, 64 yards, in which I know he burnt my man. I was pretty pissed off. But what I didn't really understand is why did CeeDee Lamb only have 1 catch for 21 yards in this game? Of course, the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo, 16 for 25, 172 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns. Elijah Mitchell, rookie, 27 carries, 96 yards. Deebo Samuels, 10 carries, 72 rushing yards. Brandon Ayuk led the charge for the receptions, 5 receptions of 6 receiving yards. Deebo Samuels, 3 for 38. Jawan Jennings, the star of the last game of the season against the Rams, 3 receptions, 29 yards. George Kittle was on lockdown, 1 reception for 18 yards. But 49ers have plenty of weapons, as it showed, that can gash you in many different ways. Bishop, you said there was a situation. Matter of fact, hold up, I'll come back to you.
Yeah,
Cornelius. Did you see? Was this expected, or was it a situation in which the game plan just didn't match up with the execution?
Okay, let's cut to the chase and let's just tell the truth. Being a Cowboy fan, one of the biggest things you have to stomach is being a Cowboy fan. What I mean by that is I see the Applewhite here saying trade Dak, but Dak wasn't your problem alone. It's the whole team. Me being a people coach, a life coach, I deal with people a lot. Being a former supervisor and all that, is all about the personnel. And the biggest thing that I saw, and I said this as soon as the game started, San Francisco's first drive, I think they ran 4 straight plays where they gained like 10 plus yards right off the rip. And you just look at the body language of the Dallas Cowboys. It was this mentality that, oh, we can come back and get that. It's like San Francisco came out saying that this is meaningful to us. We only gonna get one shot at this. Dallas was playing like they had next week, and I see that a lot. That sense of urgency is never there. It's not even so much, it's not even. I almost agree with that as far as like not prepared.
You do?
But I'm saying they were prepared, but it looked like to me San Fran was just ready. Like player for player said, they were just ready. And this guy, I don't know, CeeDee Lamb is, in my opinion, a big game player. However, it's the mentality of Dak Prescott sometimes. If you watch Dak play this year, he's very hesitant. Since that injury, he's indecisive. There were times in that game where if Dak takes off running, it changes the landscape of that game. But he refuses to run. If you think about it, he didn't run until the end of the game, get that touchdown late in the game. And then he ran to, when the clock ran out, right? It's like, but throughout the game, he had chances to make some plays with his legs and he refuses. I think Dak still had that injury on his mind. Like, I've seen it all season long. It's like they said he was in a slump. No, Dak's playing scared out there. And I think that as a coach, you got to figure out a way to try to make your quarterback comfortable. And I don't think McCarthy is the guy for that job. We know who's pulling the strings there, right?
Right.
Let's just be honest. Right? Yeah. Let's just be honest. Jerry Jones is a showman. He's a great marketing guy. He's, probably one of the best owners. I mean, he coaches what they call America's team. But for him, they look good on paper. That's good enough for him. Like, get a coach in there that's going to coach these guys. Get a coach in there that's going to, motivate these guys. These guys had no motivation yesterday. They just came out going through the motions. Whereas, like, San Fran was like, hey, we were in the Super Bowl a few years ago, and we trying to get back. You know what I mean? Dallas is like, our talent is going to beat you. It's like, no, you have to go out there and execute. I.e., all of the penalties. The penalties and all that.
That part.
That's an undisciplined team. That was very undisciplined. 14 penalties in a playoff game. Who does that? Right? Part. Only the Dallas Cowboys would come out there and do something like that. I mean, because it's the nonchalantness. And some of those penalties were bonehead. When you stop the guy, when you stop the other team, then you get a penalty because you tackle the offensive lineman. What defensive player doesn't know that you can't tackle an offensive lineman? I mean, you know what I mean?
Clear penalty, too. It wasn't even close.
I mean,
clear.
Take nothing away from San Fran. They came out with the mentality that we were going to win, but you definitely could see the more disciplined team in that game. Like the Cowboys had no discipline,
I totally agree with you, Cole, man. Like a lot of people want to blame the officials and things of that nature. And I agree with you in regards to Dak. Dak is playing scared. He's worried about and a part of me understand because that injury was bad. That was a bad injury he took last year. That was a real bad injury. But I also blame the running back. They got to get him comfortable. In other words, if you can establish a run game, it gets you more comfortable within the game. You know what I'm saying? Because you're handing the ball off, you're getting big yards, getting first downs, things like that. That kind of calms you down and gets you ready. And if the quarterback sees that the running game is working for the running backs, it has a potential to work for you as the quarterback when you choose to run. But I totally agree. There was times he got a crucial. Well, he ran for Dak ran for a rushing touchdown. He got one of the touchdowns. Mm-hmm. But like you said, he did it that one time, and then he did it. He did it later in the game. Yeah, and that was it. You never saw him doing it any other time. And
we saw him run again, which was gracious. Thank you, Dak.
Yeah,
we saw him run again.
Yeah, but the thing is, before the injury, Dak used to run all the time. That was something that was his thing. That's I can't agree with that, AB. I can't agree with that. I can't. Right. What my thing is, my question for you, AP, and for all Dallas Cowboys fans is, did they get the money of paying? Did the Cowboys get it wrong in paying the right person? Because they paid Zeke first and didn't want to pay Dak. And Zeke ain't doing nothing. Is he playing up to the caliber of what he getting paid for? I want to hear. I'll be totally honest. I want to know: is he playing up to the caliber of what he's getting paid for?
True. Zeke is one of those where they said, take the money and run, but he didn't run on the field. It's like you can see the young man's preparation is. You can see the young man's preparation is not that great. His conditioning is not that great. He comes in overweight consistently. He's always trying to play his way into shape. He
But I
doesn't
thought he
hit the
came in the
holes.
best weight, or this year I thought he came slim. I thought they said he was the slimmest he came in since he's been in
Guess what?
Dallas.
We all look like we're in good shape, but until you get hit, it's like him going through those. Watch how timid Zeke runs when he goes through the holes. Like the footage tells the truth. Like Zeke used to hit those holes. Rookie year, second year, he would hit those holes, and anything could happen going through those holes. Now he pretty much comes through those holes standing straight up and down. Not trying to get as lower than the other person or anything. Just pretty much, I'm going to take this hit, this 1-2 yards, and fall down. I mean, it's like, hey,
not fighting for nothing. Yeah,
you expect special players to make special plays at certain parts in the game. I also want to say this. I think when you say paid the wrong person, I don't think that had too much to do with it as far as, but the people that we pay, we don't use as much. Like Amari Cooper is one of the best receivers in the league if you throw him the ball. But guess what? You have to throw him the ball, And I think sometimes Dak doesn't really. I think Dak doesn't really throw him the ball. I think Dak trying to play this spread the ball too much sometimes, and it takes away from, i.e., CeeDee Lamb with one catch in a game of that magnitude. I also want to point this out. One last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to leave that game alone. Remember the play. It was what? I think it was third down or something. But anyway, instead of going down the field with the pass, Dak throws a swing pass. It's a major third down late in the game. He throws it to Zeke. Who does that? Zeke. When the game's on the line, that's what you're going to come up with. At that point, force a pass to CeeDee Lamb, force a pass downfield, right? What do you have to lose at that stage in the game? But your idea is to throw this pass over to Zeke. Why? He's not going to catch it. 1, 2, even if he catches it, he's going to get tackled in bounds. It's not going to help you at all, right? And I think on that play they got a penalty or something that helped them out on that play because that was terrible. And I was just screaming at the screen like, hey, why throw it to Zeke in that situation when you have all these big name weapons?
Facts. And so with Cole, I totally agree. I feel like Dak has so many weapons. He is trying to spread that ball thin. He has, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, they're tight end. He do. And as a quarterback, kind of feel sorry for him because of the fact that, man, you trying to build that rapport with your wide receivers and stuff, and you want to get them touches. But golly, I gotta get everybody a touch. Like, come on, I gotta give everybody a chance. But my question for you, Cole, is, all you Dallas Cowboy fans, and I know you say you want to talk about it. Back to what I said, trade back. He's not a good game player. I don't agree with that, but
I don't agree with that.
Either way, my question is to y'all, the Dallas Cowboy fans. Here, as a matter of fact, let me do this real quick because I got it on here, and I'm gonna put it up, and then you tell me, Cole, what are your thoughts on this right here? What is it? It's right. Where is it at? Somebody move it. Okay, my question was, I don't see it now. My question for you was it who lost the game for the Cowboys? Was it McCarthy or Dak?
I'm gonna say it was a combination of both, but definitely coaching, right? But that goes back to the ownership. I'm gonna make a wisecrack and I'm gonna say Jerry Jones lost them that game, and this is why he never goes out and gets a coach. He never goes out and gets a coach that's gonna command the attention of the locker room. If I'm a player on the Cowboys and I can always run to the owner, if the coach says something, I can always run to the owner and override that. The owner / GM. I mean, that's what I'm going to do every single time. So I think that it starts at the top. In the last 30-something years or whatever it's been, Jerry Jones hasn't really tried to put a winner out there. I think he wants to be that guy that says, I'm the owner and the GM, and I did it without a coach, right? Like, I put any coach in there, and I was able to win. I think that's been his goal all along, and I think it backfires every season pretty much. Because they look great on paper, but they can't go out there and execute, and they play sloppy ball like that. All those penalties, 14 penalties. You're never going to win a game with that many penalties. And if you do, are you playing the Detroit Lions? Is my question. Because I'm just saying, like, you won't win many games like that in the league.
Do
not
y'all think
meaningful
do,
games.
do y'all think that, and Trey, do you think, being a San Francisco 49er fan, do you think Dallas had already had in mind? Because to me, this is what it sounds like to me, or it looked like to me, that Dallas had in mind that they had already had their game in the bag before even playing it, being that they were at Dallas and the way they
So
were coming off.
I don't think they did because you gotta think the rhetoric was that it was a bad matchup for the Cowboys. So I
You
don't
did
know
say
if they
that.
started listening to that noise or say was it a point in which they looked at it like this is bulletin board material and we're gonna show them that saying we are who we thought we were there at home. I think it was just like you said, it was a bad matchup for them in any case. Like you got, I mean, when you look at it, you got Debo pushing the running back for leading rushing attempts and using them in many different ways. And I think it was just a situation where the Cowboys probably didn't game plan properly. But I don't think it was a situation where they was looking ahead or thought this was just an easy win. It was just a
Mm-hmm.
situation where they didn't plan properly. Like you was just saying, CeeDee Lamb, 1 reception, like that's it. I didn't see how many times he was targeted, but 1 reception
He was
for
talking about
21
three or four
yards.
times. Yeah, he was talking about
Yeah.
3 or 4 times.
So
Not a whole
one
lot, but
reception 21 yards, and then of course he had the one play that he got for 21 yards when they did the hook and lateral at the
mm-hmm.
end of the game to
Mm-hmm.
try to get in position. It was just I don't think that's what it was. It was just I think just bad execution and game planning. In which I was about to ask the question, like it was. Do you think this was on Moore, or was it saying McCarthy, like, or was it because like Cornelius was just talking about the check down to Zeke? Was it because was that by design, or was it because the defense is that what they gave him? Like what was it? Was opportunities in situations where he missed some players? And so I don't know. At the end of the day, I just think it was a situation. Um,
Mhm.
oh yeah,
I have to agree with you, Zach. I'm not gonna lie. I was
they waited.
for Cole. I was mad at Trey. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, what is y'all trying to get these dudes the game? Because San Francisco did almost everything in their
So
power
Right.
to
what they
allow them to
did
get back in this game,
To keep
to
them
win
in the
this game,
game,
bro.
right?
Man,
what they did is
God.
they was what obviously what happened was they was setting it up. They was setting it up to give Debo the ball. That's what I seen because of course I kept on because I was sitting right here and I was calling. I was like Elijah Mitchell. Okay, here comes a run. Elijah Mitchell 3-4 yards. All right, Elijah Mitchell. Okay, 3 or 4 yards. All right. George Kittle. They ain't go to Kittle who went to went to Jennings. So I was like, okay. And then of course, on clockwork, I didn't call it, but I was looking. When I was looking, I was like, it's coming sooner or later. Of course, Debo Samuel's around the corner. They was setting it up for that. So that way, I mean, that's their execution. They keep them off key with it.
But that
But
ain't even the
of
part.
course,
That's not even the part I'm talking about,
Right.
though. I'm
you
talking
talking
about
about,
the fact. I'm talking about the fact that when Dallas got the ball back,
oh, they let them get it out of bounds.
they allowing him to get out
Right.
of
So
bounds. Like,
true. So
where
think
did
about
they do that at?
So
Right.
this is what they was doing. So of course, you see what happened when we didn't guard the sidelines. I mean, when we guarded the
Right.
sidelines, they went up the middle. So what I saw was it took them 3 plays. They got the ball. What it was a minute and 4 minute and 4 seconds when they got the ball back,
Something like
or
that, yeah.
48 seconds, something like that. By
Yeah.
the time they got down, the smartest move in which they did is just he did it too late. Is Dak ran the ball because the middle of the field was open, but he did it too late. He went too deep, of course, and then of course they had to set up. You had the debacle where we all know the umpire or official has to touch the ball before it can be put in play. And they didn't, instead of them giving it to the official and opening it up, the official had to fight through like he was trying to get a first down, fourth and inches, and
Right.
He was.
then he had to fight to get there. And then of course Dak, I guess unknowingly, as opposed to running a play and throwing the ball, he spiked it and they had no more time. Had he set up and went tried to put the ball in play, he might have had a better opportunity. But
Yeah.
unknowingly he thought he
Right.
had time and he spiked it when he barely got the ball off. But we all know how they do in the NFL. It could be a second pass, the clock expiring, they still let you get the pass, a playoff. He got the snap, but he spiked it. There was no time left, so
Yeah.
it was no
That time he
controversy in
took
that.
to spike it, he could have
But
Yeah, he
dropped
could have
back.
ran the
He could
play.
have
He
dropped
could
back
have,
because the play was already
what I'm saying?
he had
He
run.
could have set up. He could have did anything. Like he could have
Yeah.
set up. Even if they didn't have a play, he could. I'm very sure. I mean, they're professionals. I'm very sure had he went ahead and snapped the ball and dropped back someone would have picked up on it and would have moved because they're like, oh shit, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just one of those things where it was unfortunate. And I at first I was like, come on, stop them from getting out of bounds. We know what they're doing. But at that point, I was like, they was trying to hold on because they was playing prevent. And I'm looking at it, I was like, why are you preventing? And then even that, the Cowboys were still running their routes as opposed to getting around, getting the ball, taking what they was given and going. So I don't know if it was a um, uh, a, a, a more the offensive coordinator, if it was his mess up or snafu. Was it McCarthy? Was it Dax? But they didn't do what they should have did until late, in which he ran up the middle. He ran too deep. He said he thought the 4 yards is going to be enough, and unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. So
I think just we can do a lot of different things, but I think the thing was the 49ers came out right away. Like I said, on that first drive and proved that they came to play. And I don't think the Dallas Cowboys matched that intensity. And then coming down the stretch, like you said, that last play is an indication that it's problems on it's enough blame to go around for everybody on the Cowboys, because Dak, you out there on the field, you playing. You have to recognize the time. So run a play. I mean, you're not going to get time to really spike that, right? So just to sit up there after the game for Dak to say that he thought he had time to, spike the ball or whatever, in that time period, it's like, no, you've seen footage time and time again. It takes more time than that. And just not understanding the rules, I think it's enough blame to go around. Like not understanding, like the Cowboys are literally trying to line up without the official touching the ball. And it cost them. It's like, hey, that's a slippage on the rules by everybody. Somebody has to know the rules out there, right? And if your quarterback doesn't know the rules or the time situation, that goes back to coaching. That's not a Kellen Moore thing. That's a head coach thing. Just like the penalties, the undisciplined penalties. They've been doing that all year with the penalties, right? But it's like, what's the punishment for that, right? These guys are so talented. You keep putting the same guys out there. Like some of those guys would have been standing next to me, is what I'm saying.
Totally agree, bro. Totally agree with that. And not only that, Cole, my personal opinion is being the quarterback, and I've seen many quarterbacks do this before. When they run the ball with time like that left on the clock, the first thing they do, they don't get a ball to the center. They go get a ball to the official because they know the official has to set the ball.
Exactly.
They made a key point last night and said if they allowed the team to set the ball, the team would set the ball wherever they want to set the ball because it doesn't matter. The official has to do it because he don't want to give the advantage to the offense by letting them set the ball themselves. Because if you clearly see the official where the center set the ball, the official put the ball back about a half a yard.
Yeah,
because
he did.
You know what I'm saying? He put the ball about a half a yard.
That messed up. Yeah, that took
messed up everything. But if Dak would have got out and instead of giving the ball to the center and just walked the ball or ran the ball to the official, he could have met the official halfway.
Right.
He could have met the official halfway, and the official would have, and now the line would have moved out the way to let the official put the ball down and been done with it. But no, he gives the ball to the center, so now the official got to run through Dak, the center, just to get to the ball to touch it to move it back half a yard. That's 2 to 3 seconds that you lost right there. Easy.
Exactly.
So I mean,
why is spiking not a throw?
Because he thought he had time. He said when he went to the conference, he said he thought he had. He's like he realized that it was about 4 seconds when he looked up. He thought he had time, in which, like y'all as y'all stated, the fact that the official had to get his hand on the ball, had to move the ball, that all put it in perspective. Where that 2 seconds right there alone, and I would even say a second because the official had to fight through to get to the ball. Like, you know what I'm saying, they was already lined up, no hole, whatever case like that. So. I mean, it's of course, you know, saying I'm fine with the outcome, but
fellas, I guess to further prove my point is what Mike McCarthy said after the game. As far as, do you want to take this, Hail Murray from the 50-yard line when they were clearly at the 40? It's clear that the coach wasn't really paying attention. See, that's what I'm saying. The finer details. It's like, is this guy really coaching the team, or is he just a puppet on the string? Because he didn't understand the situation. It's like, hey, or do we want to get 5 verticals from the 25-yard line? It's like, hey, you know what? I want a shot at the end zone, regardless of whatever, right? I want a shot at the end zone. I want to make plays. It's like, hey, coach, where's your head? Are you even in the game? It's like, that's where it is with me. That's why I say Jerry Jones knows what he's doing. He knows how to put together these marketing things and be good on paper, but as far as putting a coach in there that understands the situations and making plays, I mean, Mike McCarthy's a Super Bowl winning coach. I mean, so for him to be like, oh, Hail Marys, 2 Hail Marys from the 50, or one play from the 25, 5 verticals, it's like, hey, either way, you didn't get a shot at the end zone. You didn't get a shot to win the game. And you have to have that shot. So whether it's from the 40, 2 shots from the 40, 1 shot from the 25, get the shot to the end zone. Or why are we not talking about a pass being knocked down in the end zone?
At least one. At least one. Give
So
them an opportunity.
This is that Dallas bias that
is
Dallas, and no one but saying Applewhite will come up with this. So of course, Dallas Cowboys fans, if you're in the chat, of course, saying they have Cornelius. Is it a situation in which you're not letting the officials off the hook, or saying did the officials mess up? I don't think they messed up, and I'm speaking from an aspect of a person that talks football. It was just maybe not knowing the rules.
Man, the key question is for Cole and Applewhite and all you Dallas fans that are upset at the officials. Are they not a part of the game?
They are a part of the game.
So if the ball hits the official, whose fault is it? If the quarterback throws the ball and the ball hits the official, whose fault is it?
Right. Or if in other games where you've seen the official used as a blocker, right? like
that part. That part. How many times have you seen a player run behind an official and use him as a blocker?
Get that.
Come on, man.
I mean, not literally use him as a blocker, but use him to get the separation to make.
Yeah. Come on. You see wide receivers run them slants right in front of the official, real close, so the DB has to go behind you. Come on, man.
It wasn't just the officials, it wasn't just, maybe the Bengals game, I agree with the officials, but the Cowboy game, it didn't come down to officials. Like I said, it should have been some shots at the end zone coming down that stretch, especially with the 49ers. Now, my question to you, Trey, I got one question for you, if you don't mind, as far as in regards to the 49ers. Now, do you think Kyle Shanahan, seriously, do you think going down the stretch, the way he coached that game defensively, do you think it had something to do with blowing that Super Bowl where they gave up that long, Mahomes had a terrible game and then they gave up that long pass? Do you think the way he played Dallas yesterday, he remembered what happened to him in the Super Bowl, so he was a little cautious to play the out of bounds areas?
So that's
a play prevent.
That's an interesting question, because for me, our Super Bowl loss came because we just didn't have the personnel when it came time to match up with the Kansas City. I mean, it was just, you got to think, Richard Sherman got blown. He got blown past by Watkins. And then you had time where they was trying to guard against Hill. He got loose. So a lot of that was that in case, and it was they wasn't guarding the lines on that either. I would like to think that it was DeMeco Ryans' call, in which they've seen it, and then even one Ryans made an adjustment by be like, no, we're gonna guard the outsides, because you got to think after they got over the 40, they changed the defense. It took 3 plays, but they changed the defense and they guarded the lines, and then they opened the middle of the field up, and maybe they was trying to bait them to go to the middle of the field to stop them, of course, from getting into the outs and getting to the field. So it might have been a game plan that they were more so waiting. They were playing the ends against the middle, or wanted to sit up and take an opportunity, like, okay, if we know they're moving to the getting to the sideline and getting out, we know that's what they're doing. They're not worried about the middle of the field. Once they went to the outs, they opened the middle of the field. That caused them to burn the clock. So it might have been strategic, because you got to think at that point they was at 24 seconds, and then Dak then they had the one play when Dak went up the middle direct, and that's what they was waiting on, because that was the play. It was no hesitation. Dak just took off and bolted out, and 17 yards or 12 yards, or one case like that, and put them in position now. So it might have been a situation where they was basically just dangling the carrot in front of them and waited to take that opportunity for it to go, and was willing to live or die with the option of even a field goal. Oh, well, of course not a field goal, a touchdown, if that's what it was going to be.
Right. Okay. I also see that Cowboy fans are the only ones delusional. I don't want to go back through the past, but Trey, you just sat up there and said that the 49ers didn't blow that Super Bowl, whereas they blew it. Like,
they blew it. Yeah, they blew it. But I'm saying they definitely blew it. But I'm saying what they started doing in the defense, because they blew it on it wasn't the game call, the clock. It wasn't the play calling. The plays was there. Garoppolo wasn't hitting who he hit it. He overthrew Emmanuel Sanders at the time that we had. He overthrew him on a wide open downfield play. He didn't check. He was drawing check downs when you had George Kittle in the middle of the field. So that was offensively that was on Garoppolo. They went away from the rush. They were still at that point they was doing the quarterback running back by committee, in which they went away from the
That's the
run
part I'm
plays.
talking about. They went
Yeah,
away from the running game.
they went away from the run plays to sit up and start to try to use the passing went to the passing game, and the passing game they tried to put it in Garoppolo's hands and it wasn't effective. And then of course, like I said, we had a debacle on defense because they started picking us apart. We wasn't applying pressure anymore. They figured out how to stop the pressure, and then they started picking us apart with the receivers. And so of course we have older run over DBs at the time, which is always our Achilles heel from my point of view is we had older receivers. I mean, older cornerbacks that was getting beat by the Kansas City wide receiver core, and that just started the downfall. And after that, we couldn't recover.
Is that that year? Did y'all still have Frank?
Say again?
That year, did y'all still have Frank? Frank G.
No, he was
Okay.
gone already.
Who was y'all running back at the time? You remember?
Mitchell. It was Elijah Mitchell and I think we had Breda. We had all of them. They were still there.
Okay.
Let's start with an M. Mossberg. What was his name? I can't
Mossert,
remember his
Mossert,
name.
yeah, the
Okay.
runner, he's the injured one. It was
Yeah.
Mossert, Breda, not Elijah Mitchell. He's a rookie this year. Mossert, Breda, we had McKinnon. He was there. So it still had the running back by committee, but it just didn't pan out for us.
I gotta give it to y'all coaching staff, man, for
Yeah.
doing what y'all did with Debo. Y'all knew
Oh yeah,
what
That-
Debo brings
yeah.
to that team, and y'all put the ball in the hands of a playmaker. He made plays.
That's another point I'd like to make is that I like that, Bishop. That's another point I'd like to make is that when you watch these teams, we talk Grunk, we talk Chase, we've talked, Debo, we've talked all of these different players for these different teams that have won, right? When you talk Kansas City, you've talked Mahomes and you've talked Travis Kelce and things like that. You talk Bills, you talk Josh Allen. Let's not forget about I know the tight end had a great day, but let's not forget about at crucial points, he can just throw it to number 14 whenever he feels like it. I just think that the teams that won this Super WildCard Weekend really used their, they really relied on their key players to make the plays when they needed them. They used that experience, whereas the other teams, the teams that weren't overmatched or whatever, right away, they didn't do that enough.
Facts.
So I think that big ups to all those, all the winners from this weekend. And for you guys, I have a question. I see that Bishop seems like he's rooting a little bit for the Bengals, and I know Trey is all about the 49ers. Could that, you think that could possibly be a Super Bowl down the road?
So to answer your question, Cole, to me, like I say, I do like Joe Burrow, but the Titans and Tannehill and possibly Derrick Henry being back, they got their hands full come this weekend. They got their hands full.
Yeah.
So I don't know that Tennessee. Ooh, they bringing that monster back, and that monster is a beast. So I don't know. I mean, if they did, so I put it like this. I will say this, Cole. If Cincinnati get past Tennessee, it's a great chance that they can make a true run. If they get past Tennessee, if that happens,
yeah.
But that's a determining factor for me. That's a determining factor. I don't know.
So when I look at of course, I would like to be that person. Like, yeah, San Francisco all the way, but let's be honest. We're about to go play up in the frozen tundra come this Saturday, and then after that, depending on how much energy is expelled upon getting the victory in Green Bay, we have to come back and face even the Rams, the Cardinals, or the Buccaneers, you know what I'm saying? In that case, in which, you know what I'm saying, out of those two, I'd rather face Tom if we're victorious in Green Bay.
The GOAT.
I
You rather
rather
go against the GOAT?
yes, because that they're the ones that's lacking the most in offensive productivity. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to face the car. You gotta think the Cardinals and the Rams are division foes. So I
Right.
don't want to go back and face them. I don't want to face the Rams for a third time to where we gonna see who to see if we can sweep
Yeah.
have a clean sweep. I don't want those problems. We don't know what
Right.
Cooper Cup. We don't know they have Cam Akers who just had a game or two under his belt at that point. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
want those problems. Just in anything, I'm not trying to chase Kyler Murray all over the field all day long. We don't have to worry about
Right.
that in
That's true.
Tampa Bay.
Tom Brady.
Right.
Like
Right.
you know what I'm
Right.
saying, we could go to Tampa, it could still a little be a sunny or whatever case like that. Like well, besides that, anywhere we go, we're good. It's just our thing relies in Green Bay, but we could dispel a lot of energy playing against Green Bay where we might run into a buzzsaw the next season. So I mean the next game if we get to the conference championship. So, but you know, what I'm saying
Okay.
I remain, you know, saying hopeful, and we'll see. I'm not yet going to say that is like Super Bowl or bust, and then hell, even after that, we might. We got a hard road ahead. I just say that.
Let me ask Cole
Right.
this quick question, though. Let me ask Cole this quick question. All you Dallas Cowboys fans. Now that y'all on the couch, along with us Philadelphia Eagles, you're on the couch. What do you think is Dallas Cowboys' main focus for the upcoming season or during the off season? What should y'all focus on as Cowboy fans in regards to your
I think
adversity?
I think we got to focus on. I think we got to focus on getting better. As far as, but we got to eliminate those penalties. I think it's going to take some coming together. I think it's going to take. At some point the players have to. We put a lot of emphasis on coaches and quarterbacks, but the rest of the players they have to step up, and you have to be aware of things. I think it's going to take. What the Cowboys need to do is, as a team, they need to come together and say, "Hey, look, we all have a job to do, right?" Like most teams do that, right? Like the core players, they come together and they say, "Hey, we have a job to do." It's like, look, you can't be off sides if you're looking at the ball like you're supposed to be, right? Like how are you lining up in the neutral zone if you're looking at the ball like you're supposed to be? Get back to discipline. I think in off season, the Cowboys should really stress working on discipline.
Is McCarthy that
Lesson
dude
in
to
the
make it
penalty.
work? But it's my question to you though, Cole. Is McCarthy that dude to get the discipline in order?
No. No.
You just said it clear out like,
No.
we're not
I
going
mean,
over there.
no. Because if you think about it, he had to, like he won a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, but he inherited that team from the great Mike Holmgren. Remember that? You know what I mean? Like he inherited that team. That team was already in place, poised to make some noise. So he came into it, but he didn't do anything with it. If you look at Green Bay, they had, especially in meaningful games, they had some of the same situations that Dallas faces right now because McCarthy is not that disciplinarian, right? He's not that guy that's going to lay down the law. That was proven in Green Bay, and it's being proven right now that like what do they say? A leopard doesn't change his spots or whatever. He hasn't done anything to prove that he's going to make that team more disciplined or even more competitive. That's the biggest thing. Come out with a little bit more fire in your eyes, right? I thought Shanahan did a good job of having his guys prepared. Same thing with Andy Reid. Same thing. Look, Zach Taylor had a team that they haven't won a playoff game in 30 years, and they were more prepared. They were prepared to play. They were prepared for the task at hand. I mean, that's my thing right there. Is if you're a coach, your main job is it's not personnel. It's using the personnel to be most effective and getting the most out of the personnel. That's your job as a coach, and I just don't see that from McCarthy getting the most out of those players.
Okay.
Definitely.
I was just wondering because I know a lot of Cowboys fans are upset about the loss last night. So I know they going for some. They coming for some people's heads. As you see, Applewhite, he said, "Y'all need a new coach. Y'all need a new quarterback. Y'all need a new center. Y'all need a new wide." He just said basically Applewhite saying y'all need a whole new team for the most part. But I was just wanting to hear your thoughts on what you felt was something which you felt needed to be done in order to come back for next season.
So another thought in which we would like to that we would like to hear from you, Cornelius, is of course myself and Bishop and Ron made our selections on Friday, in which we had the Rams and Cardinals with me and Ron choosing the Rams, Bishop's choosing the Cardinals.
That's
What
right.
do you think? Who do you have in tonight's the last game of the wild card weekend? Are you going with the Los Angeles Rams or the Arizona Cardinals to come out on top?
I actually took the Cardinals in that one.
Let's
I took
go.
Kyler Murray.
Let's go.
I took
Let's
Kyler
go,
Murray in
Cole.
that one.
Let's
I
go,
took
Cole.
Kyler Murray in that one.
Really?
You know,
You think
I
you
took
think
Kyler
Kyler's going to
Murray in
select?
that one.
Let's go, Cole.
Well, I took Kyler Murray because at the end of the day, I think what's going to happen. I know it's so cliche with the end of the day, but at the end of that game, everybody's going to remember is that Matthew Stafford came from the Detroit Lions. That's what they're going to remember by the end of that game. That's going to be the only thing that you're going to remember from that game is that McVay. He may have put all his eggs in the wrong basket, so to speak. He put it, it's Matthew Stafford. A guy, you can't take a guy that has never won and say I'm going to automatically make him a winner, right? It's like they tried that with the Jared Goff, right? Like so basically it's going to come down to the quarterback play, and I think Kyler Murray is not going to turn the ball over. I think Matthew Stafford will turn it over a few times. I think Kyler Murray is going to do the young man can run. I mean, his legs are going to make all of the difference. I think you render that D line effective. I think Von Miller may have a better chance than Aaron Donald tonight because Von Miller's coming off the edge, and the Cardinals are not too familiar with his play. So I think that he has an advantage. I think that's their one advantage on the defensive side for them is that Von Miller in the game poses a different type. It makes you have to block more than just Aaron Donald. Other than that, Kyler Murray, man. Kyler Murray, I think he's better than Matthew Stafford already.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. There you have it, Trey. You heard it from Cole. He said it, man. He going with me to Arizona, baby.
Come 24. We're discussing 24
I'm gonna have my Arizona. I'm gonna have my Arizona Cardinals jersey on too, just for the game. Show them. I got an bias. No, I got an Anquan Bolden jersey. I got an old.
Oh, okay. Anquan.
Yeah. Anquan
now,
Bolden.
if you had I can't think of it. It escapes me at this point. But of course, in any case, like I said, I'm Team Rams for this one. You got 2 for Rams, 2 for Cardinals. We'll see. So, of course, yesterday there was a couple of games in the NBA, 4 to be exact. The Detroit Pistons faced off against the Phoenix Suns in what was a complete blowout. Suns were victorious 135 to 108. The Suns was led by, of course, Devin Booker with 30 points, four rebounds, and 4 assists. Next closest man off the bench was JaVale McGee, 20 points, 6 rebounds. The Pistons, who are now 10-32, were led by Cade Cunningham with 21 points and Corey Joseph, 21 points respectively. 2 rebounds for Cunningham, and 2 rebounds for Corey Joseph and 7 assists. 1 for rebound for Cade Cunningham and 4 assists for him. Of course, we didn't expect too much from this game. I mean, the Pistons are exactly who we think they are at this point. Trying to fire sale what they can to get back assets, but we'll see where we're at as the trade deadline comes up. Of course, in other action, the Houston Rockets faced off against the Sacramento Kings. The Houston Rockets was able to produce a win, improving 13 and 22, while the Sacramento Kings fall to 18 and 28. The Rockets were paced by Christian Wood with 23 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 assists, as well as Kevin Porter Jr. equally with 23 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. The Kings, however, were led by Buddy Hield, 27 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, as well as a 17-point effort from Terrence Davis with 6 rebounds and 5 assists. One other game we had last night, of course, the Nuggets faced off against the Jazz. The Jazz were victorious. Of course, they got Rudy Gobert back. Uh, Jazz won 125-102, improving to 29-14, while the Nuggets fall to 22-20, still 2 games above 400, above 500. Donovan Mitchell was the leading scorer with 31 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Bojan Bogdanovich had 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. Aaron Gordon and Nikola Djokovic led the charge for the Denver Nuggets, but of course wasn't victorious. Djokovic, of course, doing what he does, what got him the MVP last year. Triple-double effort, 25 points, 15 assists, 14 rebounds. Aaron Gordon, 20 points, 7 assists. 7 rebounds, 6 assists in the losing effort. And of course, lastly, we had the Warriors faced off against the Timberwolves, and it wasn't. It was another blowout, of course. But not who you thought it was. The Warriors lost 119-99. The Timberwolves improved to 21-22, 1 game under 500. The Timberwolves were paced by Karl Anthony Towns with a double effort, 26 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist, as well as 17 points from J.N. Noel and 10 points from Patrick Beverly. The Warriors still trying to recover from. It seems like they've been going downhill since Steph got that record. They were led by Jordan Poole, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 1 assist from rookie Jonathan Kuminga. So, gentlemen, after it's getting closer and closer to mid-season. Of course, yesterday, Bishop, your Nets revealed, or earlier in this week, or earlier in the weekend, that Kevin Durant is out with an MCL sprain,
Yeah.
out 4 to 6 weeks. What does this do for the Nets at this point?
So the good thing is, I think we got about, I think 11 games uh,
Mm-hmm.
on the road while he's out. So we will have Kyrie, which is
Mm-hmm.
fortunate for us that we'll have Kyrie and be able. We'll have to do it with Kyrie and Harden. It's definitely unfortunate that we lost KD with that freak injury in regards to his own player. Basically, we got pushed into him with spraining his ACL. And when I seen it, I was like, oh man, I was like, man, we can't win for losing, especially when it comes to these injuries and stuff like that. So we got the Cavaliers tonight, so we'll see, man. This is a game we're playing. We're going on the road, so Kyrie will play, I'm sure, versus Cleveland. I think tonight will kind of dictate how we'll play without KD. So we'll see tonight how everything, those points that we're missing from KD, those 27 points, those assists and awards and stuff like that, his leadership on the court, we're definitely going to miss it for the time in which he's gone. But hopefully we can make it happen and at least win the majority of the game while he's going and keep us where we are until he gets back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Go
almost
ahead.
with the Apple White right here on that subject right there. I'm almost, like James Harden. That's the one player that you really haven't seen do too much in the net since he's been a part of
Facts.
that. Like you've seen what Kyrie has on it. You've seen what Kevin Durant can do. Now it's going to be Harden's time to prove that with or without KD that he can make moves and make that team competitive. And he can be competitive because we haven't seen a terrible James Harden this year, but we haven't seen his game since he's arrived in Brooklyn. I think that he's focused more on taking a back seat to the other two a lot of times. But I think now he gets a chance to step up. So we'll see what James Harden has on it.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Yeah. This is his opportunity to shine right now. Right now is his time. Him and Kyrie.
So, look, being a Houstonian, what do you think about the chances for the Houston Rockets to recover and make a push to at minimum get into the playoff games before the playoffs tournament to try to get to push their initiative to get it to be back to the playoffs? Is that a far fetched possibility at this time, or do you think it's a possibility, especially with the bottom of the West being so close?
Well, I think the way the West is right now, they have a small shot, but I don't think they're going to get it done because of the the youngness of the players, the youth of the players, and having a newer coach. I think that when it comes to the second half of the season and playing, summer games are going to be more meaningful. Right now, you're seeing a lot of blowouts here and there, but I think when the games start getting tighter, then you'll start seeing that youth fall apart here and there. I think realistic expectations would be,
Mm,
maybe finish somewhere 11 or 12 in that West. Getting into those top 10 spots is going to be hard coming down the stretch, especially when you got teams that should be at the top. You're going to have to fight for those spots. Like, for instance, the Lakers are way down there. So it's going to be, like that
number
whole
8.
middle of the pack thing. It's going to be, I think the experienced teams will win out. And I think, Houston will have to wait till next year to really, add to that roster, bolster that roster a little bit, and come back strong.
Okay. So what do y'all
Shout
think,
out
you
Christian
guys?
Wood, though. Shout out
Yeah,
Christian
Christian
Wood.
would
That
do his
kid can play,
thing.
man. That kid can
Yeah.
play.
So why do you think what's going on with Golden State? They have, what I'm saying, they have got the Splash Brothers back together. They got the band back together. I understand Draymond is out possibly for two weeks. Uh, what is ailing the Rock? Not the Rockets. What is ailing the Golden State Warriors currently? And of course, Apple White. I understand Memphis in the building. I got you, White. Apple White, the Grizzlies. But what you think is ailing? Of course, could it be possibly the emergence of the Grizzlies being a force? And saying pushing, applying pressure. What's going on with Golden State? What you guys think is going on with Golden State at this point?
I think they're a
It's
lot
just
like
getting healthy.
yep,
Oh, okay.
and I think they're trying to figure it out now. Now that they get Draymond is out, but I think they're trying to figure it out with everybody starting to come back. They're trying to figure out rotations, trying to figure out how to get back into the rhythm of what they were used to playing with everybody on the court again. So I think again when it's all said and done, we still waiting on our All Star break. So when it comes to that All Star break, I think once they come back from that, I think they'll be hitting on all cylinders. So I think it's just
Yeah.
right now it's just a downtime for them, and they're just trying to put things
Mhm.
together.
Of course, of course, of course.
Yeah,
Wh-
that's a true statement. That's all they need is get healthy, and Steph will start making shots again. I mean, Warrior
Yes,
fans,
sir.
they should know by now not to panic. The shot will start going back in again at the clip that he's used to making it at. It's just it's a long season. Everybody hits those stretches a lot of times in basketball. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the last team that went all out was the Warriors, right? 73-9. Nobody's going out like that no more. So
Right.
the resting of the players, and the injuries right now are what's ailing them. You got to get Steph some rest. He shoots the ball a lot. He runs a lot, and he's not a spring chicken anymore. Um, so he'll be healthy for the playoff stretch though, and they'll be healthy for the playoff stretch. Um, the Warriors right now are still one of my favorites. Though I do
Mm-hmm.
like the Grizzlies, I still think the
Mm-hmm.
Warriors are the favorites to come out of the West right now.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Okay.
I totally agree. Yeah, yeah. Steph is just in a slump right now. He gonna figure it out. He in a slump right now. He gonna figure it out. He probably figure it out, like I said, right after the All Star break. And Clay's just trying to get back into a rhythm and get his time back
Mhm.
on the court, time management, and figure out how to get him on the court back full time. They'll be all right. They're gonna definitely be in contention when it's time. Definitely gonna be in contention. And I do. Yeah, Memphis is the team right now. Memphis, bro. Be on the lookout for Memphis. They definitely gonna
Yeah.
be a force.
So, of course, as we get ready to run out of time, we give you the slate for the night, 12 games for the NBA. Of course, the Pelicans travel to Boston to take on the Celtics. Uh, the Charlotte Hornets travel to New York to take on the New York Knicks. The 76ers will go up to Washington to take on the Washington Wizards. That should be a good game. As stated before, Brooklyn Nets and Kyrie Irving should be traveling to Cleveland to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers this afternoon. The Chicago Bulls will face the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis.
That's gonna
Opportunity
be a
for
good
John
one.
Moran and them to get back
That's gonna be a
on
good one.
schedule.
Mm.
The Indiana
That's gonna
Pacers
be a
will be
game right
traveling
there.
to LA to take on the Los Angeles Clippers. The Milwaukee Bucks will travel over to Atlanta, Ice Storm City, to take on the Atlanta Hawks. Portland Trailblazers will be traveling over to Orlando to take on the Orlando Magic. Toronto Raptors will travel down to Miami, facing the Miami Heat this afternoon. The Phoenix Suns will travel over to your neck of the woods. Bishop will be taking on the San Antonio Spurs this evening. OKC Thunder will be traveling to Dallas and take on the Dallas Mavericks, and the Utah Jazz will be trekking over to the LA Crypto.com arena to take on the Los Angeles Lakers for the last game of the night. So, of course, like you said, Bishop is going to get some good games tonight.
That Bulls
Hopefully,
in Memphis. That Bulls
yeah,
in Memphis game is gonna be probably the game of the night.
2:30. You know what I'm saying? That might get a game to check out this afternoon, this evening, 2:30, while you
Yeah.
enjoy your meal for Martin Luther King Day, MLK Day. Gentlemen, of course, that's our time for today. Um, Cornelius, how you felt, man? Getting on.
This was great. I thank y'all for having me on. We should definitely do it
Thanks for
again
having
at
me.
some
Oh
point.
yes, that's all the time. Of course, you know, saying let them know, stimulate your mind, the stimulate your mind show where they could come, where they can find you out, listening to you, so that way you can pick up some more followers, hopefully.
Yes, it's the Stimulate Your Mind show, aka the Sim Show, at WDRB Media on iHeartRadio. Also, the Apple Music. I mean the Apple Music, Tune, the radio, etc. Also,
Appreciate
you
you.
can check out my website for previous shows. You can go to thesimshow.com. That's DASYM show.com. Or you can get at me on Facebook, Cornelius Cole. Thank y'all.
Yeah, greatly appreciate it. Of course, you know what I'm saying? If y'all go back to check out the previous shows, I think it's even episode 4 or 7. Y'all can check them out where y'all can hear when them boys, some of them good brothers from Cyro 5 Military Incorporated were guests on the show
Yes.
and was able to talk about some
Yes.
things. So, you know what I'm saying? Or you can just listen to all the shows and go back to find the content. You know what I'm saying? It'll make it work.
Oh,
It
yeah.
doesn't hate at all to 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 have it. App White will be sure to do that. He'll be sure to get it when he gets a chance to post it in the comments, so that way you'll be everyone catch it. Catch the show. Uh, Bishop, any parting words, bro?
I appreciate you, Freddie. No, man. Well, yes, I'm saying no, but yeah. First of all, let's thank Cornelius Cole, for being on the show, man. We really appreciate you, man. Very knowledgeable. Definitely would love to have you back on the show, man. We definitely enjoyed you. Um, Thank everybody for tuning in this morning to the First Formation. I know we're here Monday through Friday, 0900 to 1100 hours for you military personnel. That's 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock a.m. For you civilian personnel. That is Central Standard Time. So don't forget that. Don't be late for formation. We hate to put you on the carpet because it will happen. But with that, man, y'all have a great Martin Luther King Monday. Enjoy it. If you have an opportunity to get out, get some of that sun. Be out there, stay safe. Thank you, Erica. We appreciate you, Freddie. All y'all that tuned in, my little brother Dante, Zach,
Yeah.
AP. Thank you. Set your clock. I appreciate it. Yeah, don't miss formation, man. We don't want to see. We don't hate to, see this all major. Have you have to talk to him. But yeah, another great show, Trey. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, yes, yes. We greatly appreciate it. Like you said, be sure to check us out tomorrow as we, of course, go over tonight's game. We might talk about some of these games, in which of course, these games that we just stated that would be good games in NBA. Anything else that comes about in the sports world, you never know. You know what I'm saying? It's a very diverse thing. So, without further ado, we greatly appreciate y'all joining us this morning for this MLK Day, another gracious day, uh, taking time to join us and holler at us, listen to us when you could have been doing anything else, sleeping in or whatever case like that. But you got up with us this morning at this formation. We greatly appreciate it. I got you, Applewhite. I see you, man. Go Titans. We'll see. So, you know what I'm saying? We greatly appreciate it, gentlemen. Hold up 1 second. So y'all could make sure y'all. We greatly appreciate it. Of course, like you, as y'all requested, to put Cornelius' information in the chat. There you go, where you be able to catch him 5:30 on Tuesday Eastern Central Standard Time, 4:30 Central Standard Time. iHeartRadio, Apple Music, WDRB Media. Be sure to go check him out. Content it might be opportunity for you. You might be able to reach out. You might have some content. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. Networking, platforms, and being saying being doing what we can for our communities, our veterans, just all together. So we greatly appreciate y'all. Be sure to go check them out. And be stay tuned. We're gonna try to get Kim and Mike on. So Kim can come talk about what happened at the MG33 Military Basketball Tournament this past weekend. We'll give her an opportunity for her and Bishop to try to go over what they said. We won't spoil it yet and let you know who ended up winning the championship. We'll let her do that, but it was a joyous event for what I hear. And of course, Mike Barker from Hero Sports down in San Antonio gave him an opportunity to get on and talk about what he has. Later on this week, we should have actually Rodney Jordan on as well as he talks about what he's got going on, everything like saying it's a joyous week. We can't wait. Ron Loe will be on so we could talk about this. He's currently down, y'all, 2 out of 3 for this week with another game left. Myself and Bishop are tied 2-1. Later on this week, we'll talk about who's left in the last man standing. Unfortunately, some of y'all took that L because of the team which y'all got randomly picked, but hey, it's all fun and games. We greatly appreciate y'all coming out. So with further ado, group tension, fall out. See you tomorrow.
Roll!